Greetings and welcome to you, brave citizens of our new world. It is I, Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius, Dr. Terrawat. This is our Layer 4.0. God damn it, Piff. We're playing ourselves some more D&D 5th edition with the B team. God damn it! We got our B team together. We're playing ourselves some more Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition. Having ourselves a good time. God, I've been working really hard to get something working for today, and I'm hoping very much that we can get it, going, or that it will work today. I'm very excited to show you guys a thing that I've been building, and we'll see how it functions. Yeah. So, hello, everybody.
Let's skip the town.
No, please. I didn't know if you were going to go in the town, and then you're like, we're going into the town, and I was like, okay, sweet. They didn't decide to, like, try to hide or run north into the woods or whatever. They decided to sweep into the town. So I'm going to build this huge thing now. I'm going to spend my time now building it and not building it previously too much because I didn't want to sort of back myself into a fucking corner. Oh, God.
It seemed like you really wanted us to go into the town.
Well, I was curious to see if you guys would, because I was when last we left off, our brave and intrepid adventurers were heading along north of a large town that is on the map. And you know what? I'm going to bring us back to the map at large, but I have to go in chunks. The way that this is set up, we have to go in like bits. There we go. And we got ourselves some stuff. We got some subs. Thank you, Mango Toad and Claire. Thank you for the subscriptions. I really appreciate that. You guys are fantastic. Sub hi. It's a damn good day.
It is a damn good day.
It's a damn good day for subscription hypes. Now, today, what we are going to be letting off, ladies and gentlemen, for our Ragaful is not going to be Dark Souls 3 plus the DLC. It is a little game that we love called War for the Overworld. It is a game that was donated by Esteban here with us, and it was also a game that inspired making this D&D campaign. Wow. Wow. A land of make-believe. Quite literally. Oh, God.
What the?
This was our path.
It's supposed to be our approximate path.
That looks like a drunken stumble.
So,
there's less.
Okay, so what happened was, you guys actually came out of the woods around this area and then started heading in that direction. Hold on, let me pull this up so I can move that over there. There we go.
And we adopted a human child.
And then you adopted a human child, and we're heading originally over top of the town. But a large force was marching in the opposite direction, sort of sweeping in this area. To which you guys had the option to try to hide in and amongst the grass and hills, but you did have a child with you now, so that might have proven challenging. Move north into the woods and hope that, again, they don't find you with the child in tow, or move south into the town. The decision that was made by the party was to move south into a Braniel. I have to clear the drawings. There we go.
Doc, I don't think you started the raffle.
I have not started the raffle. You are correct. I'm going to do that now. I'm also going to shut off that timer.
And do we have a side quest in Braniel? Or was it like one of the only towns of this entire map that we had no reason to come visit?
It was, in fact, one of the only places in this town that you had no reason to be at.
Like, Alloy has something in Egris. I know someone has something in Egris.
Egress, yeah.
Egress. And Ecris. And it's like...
Yeah, they like their E's.
They do.
Oh, and Kara subbed for 21 consecutive months in a row. Thank you so much.
Oh, shit.
Thank you, Kara. I really appreciate that. That's almost 2 years right there.
It is almost 2 years. That's 3 months short of 2 years.
Yeah, it's 3 months short of two friggin' years.
Yubs.
Also, Doc, you should probably introduce the characters.
Well, I'm gonna get Quad. I'm gonna get to that.
One thing at a time.
I'm trying to set a scene for everybody. Jeez. Just let a brother talk. So, where you guys were moving along. So once again, you guys did make the decision to head south into Ikris, and that brings us to where we were here, just at the edge of the town, with the small girl in tow. That being said, with us here are our intrepid adventurers. We're going to go down our list. Starting from the top, we've got Esteban playing our skeleton ranger, Talrind.
Taking care of its small child.
Yeah, got a little kid in tow.
Probably still poking her hands into my eye holes.
Just blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
We've got Rainer playing our... God, I'm losing the word for it here because my mind is becoming a big pile of mush. Drakir, the... Hold on.
Dragonborn.
Sorcerer who is a dragonborn, black dragonborn sorcerer named Drakir. Dragonmon. Yes. Drakir of the Clan Umbraxis. That's Rainer. Okay. Got it. First try. we've
It was
also...
a bit wordy, but first try.
Yeah, we got it. I had to... I'm going to need a new pair of shoes for the fucking road I had to walk in order to finish that. All right. We've got Kaldaka Gray, who is playing our kobold cleric named Snick.
Snick has no spells to help Doc's memory.
There is no spells to help my failing mind. We've got Quad playing Alloy, our warforged warrior.
I have no magic, but I have a magical personality.
I love you, Quad.
That you do, buddy. That you do.
We've got Caleb, we've got Palanthir playing Caleb Minstrel, our Air Genasi rogue.
All I have with me are 28 stab dice.
28 stab wounds.
They're
I
gonna go
appreciate
ahead and
that
work
so
on
much.
them a little.
And we've got, of course, last but not least, we've got Embisaurus, who is playing Piffles, our goblin bard.
I'm in danger.
Yes, yes, you are.
Your usual guardian is distracted.
All right. Let's add in a folder. Ibranil. We'll just throw you... Nope, you don't like that? Okay. We'll do you like that. How's this? How's that sound? Does that sound good? Does that sound good? Good. Sweet. Ding.
Number one
All right.
or number two?
What do you like it? You like a number one or you like a number two? Huh? How do you like that? I don't like them being two in there. That's not good. Let's delete. Cool. Cool. So yes, you guys currently have yourselves out in the woods just outside of our town that we're looking at here. And you guys also still have
Who's this guy?
a little
Who's
child
this?
that's nothing, shush. That's just
That's what happens when you get stock footage.
So we were
Pay no attention.
disguising the human child.
We don't have to disguise a
think
human
we were
child. We
doing
have a
it.
human child. Oh, that's right. No, but you were going to put a
We had
wig
to
on her,
dress
though.
her because we were going to put a wig on her and put a dress and stuff on her because she's being hunted by people.
This is correct. Ignore me.
And since I was the one with child-sized lady clothes, because
Yeah,
somebody
you
was like, "Why don't you
offered
put
a
her in your
change of your
clothes?" And then I
clothes.
looked down at my mismatched colored tights and tutu and was like, "I shouldn't put her in this."
You should put a kid in those clothes. Probably shouldn't. Like just
Probably shouldn't.
just so you know.
So we're
Probably
using my
shouldn't do that.
disguise kit, or part of it.
Yeah. So
Because I
give
had a
me,
wig.
because like the role for disguising, I believe was made to be like an intelligence role at this point.
Aw, damn it.
It
So
was.
what do I got to roll for you?
Yeah, hold on. Let me double check.
Because, like, I have a disguise kit.
I feel like maybe wisdom.
Would it be deception? Maybe?
Because there's spells for disguise self. There's items that let you do things like using a disguise kit, and then tool proficiencies regarding those, which just means you don't need to... Like, you can roll... If you have a disguise kit, you can roll your disguise roll as though you had proficiency in it. That's what the tools give you.
There's no disguise rule.
But there is no roll for that. So, you know what? Off the
So do
top of my head,
deception?
I'm going to say deception. That sounds like a very good roll
Yeah.
for that. 16. All right, now is that for you or is that for the kid?
That's for the kid.
Okay. I like that.
Because we're going to change her hair and stuff, and we don't want those people from the brothel to find her.
Yep.
And I already tucked my ears under my hat last time and cast minor illusion on myself, so it should be good.
Good. All right. Yes, you had minor illusion that you cast on yourself. All right. And what's
So
everybody
that
else
with my
doing?
ears tucked up under my sun hat, I should be okay.
Yeah.
Valorant is in full hood and mask, so
All right, I should get my disguise kit up and running, shouldn't I?
Yeah, you gotta put a little rouge on yourself there so that the...
Didn't you already disguise yourself in the morning before we headed out?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna say yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That you did indeed use a disguise kit on yourself to in the morning
Well-
in order to get yourself going along. Sneck, what
Thank
about you?
For my BRA look on point. Huh?
Sorry.
The only
Doc?
reason we didn't disguise,
Oh yeah, were you just gonna hide in a sack because you're small?
crap, I told myself I was going to go review the previous episode so I could remember the girl's name, but I forgot to.
Claire.
where
Yeah, it's just Claire.
Yeah.
Yes, Claire.
The only reason we didn't disguise Claire in the morning because we never expected to go into the city where she's being hunted.
That's why we're doing it now.
That's why we're doing it now. But everybody else has like disguises on. Alloy's got like his
Except for me.
scarves and stuff wrapped around his head. Sneck is hiding inside of, I think, one of Alloy's backpacks.
As
I thought
long
he was gonna be
as
like a prisoner or something.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he was pretending to be
Yeah,
a prisoner.
no,
He had
I'm doing,
the, he had
like-
the cuffs on.
yeah, because I had like what I can re-roll it, but because if you want, because I have no idea what the roll was. I know it was like 21 or something like
It
that.
was a good roll for today. Yeah, like you were
I
definitely
think it's
passing.
that roll at the top there. That's 20 for deception.
Bruh.
It's still in the chat log. The chat log didn't get cleared recently.
Yeah, I haven't cleared out
Oh.
the chat log.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
gotta go
so-
through the A-team stuff from...
Yeah, you know,
That's
if it
okay.
was like all the A-team stuff behind it.
If you've gone up and had a look at the previous stream stuff, then that's fine. If you want to tell me what those are, we can. But I'm just going to say that you guys have a pretty decent roll going forward. And
go find it.
I hope, big fingers crossed, that doesn't come up. So yeah,
I'm just imagining how intimidating it looks. Alloy, who's just like, who probably looks like he's from the desert or something. Just this giant person from the desert walking around with like this captured kobold.
this is a very important kobold.
I'm just hoping no one questions why we aren't turning him in.
Yeah, well, maybe you're turning him over to a specific client. Who's to say?
Yeah. So,
True.
Doc, do hunters have licenses within the kingdom?
Yes, that's right.
We're
you
about
would
to
know.
find out.
You would know. So, in terms of the like hunters and stuff like that, most do. A lot of them, though, you'll get like your standard adventuring parties that aren't like sanctioned by the Empire, that move around and do small jobs and capture kobolds and shit like that. Rescue people, dig out goblin holes and stuff like that. But that's about it. There are more official capacity
Little
people that
holes.
are licensed to move in certain areas and they're granted special privileges. But by and large, you do still get your like vigilante group of adventurers that go around and try to help people out by killing monsters and trying to get fame and fortune, and like 9 times out of 10 getting themselves killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you find yourself just at the edge of the city. What do you guys do? You guys head in?
I mean, I assume we are.
I think the idea is that Caleb was going to try and find a safe house for everyone to just sort of hide in until dark falls, until just so that it'd be easier for us to move in the cover of night. So we need a place to hide.
Yes. Yes.
You-
It was indeed
So-
21 deceptions, says Kaldaka. Okay, good. So we do have that. That is something that we can do.
right.
All right, so then, yeah. You guys start making your way into... No, not that one. What about this one? Nah, it's too peaceful. What about this one?
Yeah.
There we go. That's more to the mood.
Hmm.
You guys make your
Determined.
way into the edge of this massive city, or at least one of the larger cities you've seen outside of Automath.
Can you take a look at your text chat?
My text chat? Which one? Like in Discord?
In roll 20, I whispered something to the GM.
Oh, shit. Yep. My bad. Thank you. You know what? Esteban, I'm going to say, yeah, you have an old medallion for that.
Awesome.
Though whether or not it is still in circulation, we'll find out. But yeah, so this is the city. You guys entered from the north. I'm going to say the northeastern corner. So you guys are coming in around right there.
Okay. I'm trying to find where we are on the map.
Top right.
Top right corner.
Sorry, it's just I gotta. Technically, everything's smaller for me because I got the Twitch chat box just shoved into the corner of my screen.
That's fair. Do what you got to do. Place
There's
yourselves
a alloy
where
there.
you would
It's a
like
lot of rooms.
on the map.
Hang on, I gotta zoom out this map. It's so big.
It is fucking huge. You're gonna have to zoom in to kind of get an idea as to where you are.
Oh, there's Drakiar. Okay, I know where I am now. I think. Wait, where's the rest of you guys? There you were. How do I?
Yeah, the music.
How do I
is
grab my
And
token
you-
again?
There we go.
You can drag your name.
How do
you know
I?
what the sheet is?
Drag and drop your
How do
character
I-
onto the screen. I can do that for you if you would like.
Hang on, I want to figure it out. How do
Top
I?
right
There.
in the journal tab.
Oh. Oh, did you move me?
I put you on the map. Yeah.
You said
How
green
do I go
circles
there?
HP, blue circles AC, right?
That's correct.
I can't pick up myself though.
Weird.
Won't let me do a thing. Hang on, let me. Where's the journal tab?
It looks like
Oh, you
you're,
can't pick up yourself because you have the select move tool. Selected.
Yeah, it looks like you're in the drawing tool rather than
there
the
we
select
Clicked
move
it. I clicked select move.
If you were drawing
I
green,
accidentally put a
green,
dot on the ground before.
tool. Yeah, you're drawing
Jesus
green
Christ.
dots on the ground.
I got it!
Yeah.
I did it!
Here you
I
go.
did it! I'm a big goblin, I can do this. Swear.
A big goblin that has all her limbs.
Ooh.
I'm winning!
All right. So,
No, my HP.
please don't nerf me.
Yeah.
And here we go. And there is the kid traveling with you guys.
She doesn't look like a kid.
Well, she's blonde
Oh.
and her hair's been colored, and that was what I found when I looked up peasant kids. Yeah.
Oops.
All right. So, you guys find yourselves coming in. Throughout the street, occasionally you see standing sort of around in certain areas, you'll see city guards as you enter into certain spaces. These guys, I have just put like 2 of them down the street from where you guys are standing. Every time you guys move into a building, I'll be able to move the ceiling off of that building and give you a better look at the inside of those spaces.
Fucking rad.
Hello,
That is
punch your
totally
right to the
rad.
right side. You want to go inside that building.
But yeah, you should be able to see where there are doors. For example, there's a door here. There's an entrance like in that spot. There's an entrance on that spot. But yeah, you find yourselves in these spaces. There is a hustle and bustle of other peasants moving around through the open areas. This particular quadrant of the city appears to be some housing, but mostly like crafting and civic buildings. Most all of them are only one story.
Caleb, how convincing are you?
Sorry, what?
How convincing are you, Caleb?
Somewhat convincing.
Like medium. Oh yeah, where's Caleb on the map here?
Up
I'm
here.
directly in
With a very friend.
Oh, there he is. There he is. Okay, cool. Are we missing
Where's
anybody?
Yeah.
Snake?
Yeah, we're missing Sneck. Yeah,
Sneck.
like we're missing somebody.
Snack's hiding in one of the bags, remember?
No, he's presenting as a prisoner.
Oh,
And this.
Right.
There you
This
are.
is where I'm trying to figure out how do I. Yeah.
There you go.
I was clicking on Raynor, trying to figure out why I couldn't activate my token.
Don't do
How?
that.
Why is it working? Well, it just doesn't work. So.
Like,
Um,
Brachion Snake was
Can't.
fairly different.
Except I still can't interact with the token.
Why? I think it might be because I clicked and dropped it into the map. If you click on your
have to
character and
give
drag and drop it
permission
in,
to
it should
him.
be fine.
Okay, sorry. How do I put my token on the map? Because I've never done it. You've always just done that.
Go to the journal,
Okay.
and you see where it says Acolyte Sneck, like your thing that
Yeah.
you would click to open up. So you just click that and drag it into the map.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you click and drag it onto the map, boom, there you are.
There we go. And now I can move it.
wow.
Okay.
Now you've got control.
Perfect.
Everybody
I can
okay?
Stat the thing.
Yeah,
I heard a small
just-
smash.
I dropped my controller.
Whoops. Okay. All right. So you guys find yourselves walking into the side of the town, and you see, at least in front of you, this far, you see those three guards who are standing just a little ways in. Behind you, just outside the town, you hear the ever-present, almost deafening march of the large military force that numbers in the hundreds of soldiers moving that are sort of like sweeping up in that northeasterly direction. Some of them are fanning out to look into just the beginning area of the woods. Most of them are scanning across the fields themselves. A small group of about 24 of those soldiers are starting to head towards the city.
Whew.
It seems like they're just, every now and then, they stop and they fan out and they check the area and then they come back into forming a group and then continue their movement.
They're looking for something.
Hey, Caleb, if you be so kind, can you take this medallion? It's a 100 medallion. Talk to the guard. Give them the rundown that we're a party with a potentially sensitive loot that we're taking to somebody important. I'm going to roll. I don't know. Does anyone know any good nobility in the area?
North of this area, there is a large keep, and the Lord of... Oh, sorry, one second.
The Black Keep.
Trying not to...
Yes.
Being Lagos. Oh, Little Orange Blaze, thank you for following us. Welcome to our
Our
game
Casty Overlord.
of Dungeons and Dragons. Thank you. I'm in my 30s now. I burp every time I'm talking. It is very Rick and Morty. But yeah, there is a large keep that sits just north of the city that sort of encompasses this whole area like a... necessarily a huge castle, but like a large stone castle-like structure. And the lord that would be in there, let's have a look at the chat. Who's in the chat today?
Well, before you finish that, I was looking for a lord that's not this city.
A lord of not this city?
Yes. Because we were just passing through this city rather than delivering snacks to this city.
Oh, you mean like further south?
Yeah.
So you don't want to know the lords' names of this place, you want to know the lords' names of a different place?
Yes.
Okay, which place are you thinking of?
Maybe closer to Ogden?
Somewhere further south. I don't see the world map,
Ogden?
and I'm struggling with the names off the top of my head.
That's
Ogden?
okay. Yeah, you know what? We're going to say that there is a lord. I'm going to switch quickly over to Imran, and I'm going to say that there is a lord of Ogden, the large town that's outside the ruins of Oron. That sort of like mercenary adventurer town that a lot of people try to, steal into the wastelands to gather gold and riches and fight demons.
Do we even... sorry, but do we even need a lord? We know there's a slaver camp down there. We could say we were selling them to the camp.
I'm going to say, Esteban, have Talrand give me a history check. Oh Jesus, yeah. You know the basically the man about town, the Lord of Ogden, is a man named Calendros.
I'm sorry, the man about town thing just made me think of Mr. Digginsaurus, Ricks. Rick Diggins, man about town. Sorry.
Everyone, like Calendros, big important noble, will incline the guards to not mess with us.
That you're here, so your fabrication is that you are here under Calendros' orders.
Yes. We were sent north into the woods to capture a weird kobold.
This specific kobold, for reasons which we may not say, and
because he is magic.
Because he is magic,
need him.
and you are to bring him back south to Ogden. So that's the gambit. Okay.
Yes. Now we're going to ask for yes.
Do you have more than one mic on your PC?
It does sound like you're not talking into your mic. It sounds like you're...
So I think you're in a tin can. Yeah.
I didn't want to say anything because I wanted to...
Sorry, I'm just having trouble hearing him at certain parts.
Yeah, that is fair.
Is that better?
Oh, that's much better. There we go.
Much better.
Yeah, much better.
Fucking random settings deciding that to default to the webcam mic, which has fallen behind my computer screens right now.
Windows.
The worst.
I did have to yank my computer out to clean it recently, so I did unplug everything and re-plug everything back in again. So
Oh yeah, that'd do it.
relatively Windows. Anyways. So yes, no, and so if you go and ask one of the guards, saying we're a hunter group, they ask for a out-of-the-way place so as to not cause problems, that we could like an inn or something that would let us rest up.
Okay, ideally I was going to be looking for a safe house that's marked with thieves' can't.
Give me a search or a perception. Give me a perception check.
Perception is...
Le perception.
I doubt it's going to be a natural.
I'll let you carry. It's a
No.
5. So this whole situation is definitely very distracting. Instead of looking for, you are looking around for any building that has a thieves' camp marking on it, but as it stands, you're really keeping an eye on the guards, and trying to keep your facade up that you guys are a bunch of human travelers who have a kobold prisoner and a child with you. So, or rather, several children in this particular case. All right.
Good thing that we rescued them from whatever kobold camp we raided.
This is true. Yeah, that's easily a thing. All right. Where do you guys move to explore into the town first?
I was trying to send Caleb ahead to not draw the guards' direct attention to all of us up close and personal.
All right, then
That's not a bad point. So you wanted Caleb to like move up to talk to one of the guards and like try to figure out where you guys need to be going.
Yeah, no, the rest of us just like move up here just before.
Yeah.
Is everyone okay with that plan?
So far, sounds good.
Yeah, so you guys kind of move up a little bit into the street area, sort of standing near and around the entrance to that house. And
I want to make it clear I'm never letting go of Alice's hand.
that's fair.
Me.
She
Not
happily
Alice.
trots along with you. And, yeah, Claire. She happily trots along with you. She seems very amenable to the whole situation.
So
Eat a
I'm
flower and then offer her a flower.
What
It's tasty.
kind of
Anyone.
flowers are you eating?
They're probably like cornflowers, like little blue things that I found on the ground.
That's fair. Yeah, you as in now swirling black galaxies. Using thaumaturgy, Sneck has made his eyes swirling black galaxies to help sell the fact that he is a dangerous magical kobold.
The weird magic kobold. Important difference.
We'll show the kid she's gonna put her fingers in there. Stat.
But yeah, as you, Piffles, you're standing there eating one of the flowers, you offer one to Claire. Claire takes the flower happily and sticks it in her mouth and starts to munch, and then almost immediately is like, blah, and like spits it out.
I give Claire a piece of jerky.
Oh, she's much more interested in that.
Wait, is it the jerky or is it the jerky?
I don't have any of your jerky, Piffles.
Thank God.
But it's so good.
No, it's not.
I just have
Oh,
mountains
it
of
is.
regular
They were some
Reese's jerky that
very
I can't
needy
use.
halflings.
Oh,
That
my-
was
oh,
good.
Lord.
Yeah, moving up. So you're
so
you're
chunky
talking to that guard. Just really quickly before you move up, and we get into that quad. As you move to that position in the street, you do get eyes just inside the building to the south of you. It is a tavern.
Oh.
There are a number of people inside the tavern, a number of simple peasants kind of sitting about, going about their business, eating and or drinking. I'm going to put one there. And standing behind the bar is a peasant lady who appears to be in, like, her 40s or so. Like, she's getting on in years a little bit, but she's fine. And she is currently sort of, like, wiping out a mug. Now, Caleb, you move up to one of the city guards. What do you say?
All right, moving up to wrong window. Here we are.
Sneck, do me performance check.
There we go.
Snake trying to look scary,
Right, I
which is
will-
great.
Oh, okay. Just gonna wait and see how this goes first. Give me a minute to look up. Let's see.
my hands are bound.
Yeah, no, it's 12. I mean, you're trying to sell it. Like, you're looking around like, with your wild galaxy eyes. All right.
All right.
Ally, can you make sure you have your weapon drawn? Like you're trying to keep the kobold in line?
What?
Draw
Can
your
you make
weapon.
sure you have your weapon drawn? Like you're trying to keep a kobold in line?
I mean, he can't really put away his halberd, so
That's a fair
You
point.
can tie it to your back.
that's true.
Your halberd is like nearly as tall as you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will approach the guard. Excuse me,
Mhm.
can I have a moment of your time, sir?
The guard, looking relatively bored, sort of glancing around the street, sees you walking up to him, sort of straightens himself up a little bit, tries to square his shoulders and stand a little more professionally. As you come up to him, he goes, "Oh yeah, what's that?"
I'm afraid my cohorts and I are not familiar with the area. We were sent by a Lord Calendros over by Doc. What was the name of the Ogun?
There you go. Yep, you say Ogun.
Okay. All right. We were sent by a Lord Calendros from Ogun in order to hunt down a kobold that has fled north we were also able to rescue a small child that was kidnapped by said kobold.
Pair of children. Remember, Piff's disguised as a child.
Okay, pair of children that have been kidnapped by said kobold. We're currently trying to make our way south back towards Ogun. However, it appears that we are probably going to be waylaid at least for the night. Is there any inns or facilities that would be able to house our group?
The guard kind of listening to you, nodding, is just like, right, so you adventuring types, eh? Yeah, you could, I mean, there's some of the inns and such you could find here. Over on the west side of town, there's a wee brothel you could get into. I think that might, depending on your inclinations, be of interest to you. But there's old Marge's place right here, and he points to the inn that you guys are standing outside of. In that moment, how well are you guys attempting to conceal this kid? Are you just kind of standing there with her? I mean, she has a wig on, right?
Yeah.
She has a wig on. She has like a full set of different clothes.
She's technically on the opposite side of the party from the inn.
She's actively like relatively close beside Talrin because he's holding her hand. And
Just behind, looking like another child.
Okay. Sorry. Oh, crap. No, there.
Like from where, like
okay.
Marge or whatever her name is standing, she'd have to be looking through Alloy, through Talrin, past Sneck to even see the child.
So the two guards that are standing close to you only got 14 and 11. They do not see through your disguise.
Nice.
They are, for all intents and purposes, bored. They've been standing in the sun all day, and they could give a shit if you're actually not a human being. So they are just kind of looking around. But one of the guys points to Marge's place.
At the end of the day.
The old woman who is standing behind the counter in the back of the inn sees Alloy standing there and starts sort of eyeing the rest of your group that you've got there. And her eyes go from Alloy to the Kobold to Talrand over to Drakir and then to the child Claire. And
Claire's other hand and get chained to Talrin so I look more like a child.
yeah. So you guys are all kind of standing around outside. She, looking over the rest of your group, quietly puts down the mug that she is cleaning, sort of brushes her apron of wrinkles and stuff, and smiles and just makes her way slowly along over here to the front door area.
Oh shit.
I'm gonna, but quickly before I get to her, Caleb, is there anything else that you say to the guard?
I'm just gonna say we're probably gonna go with this place. Just points towards the Tavern Inn. We do have children with us. I doubt the brothel's a good idea. It's tempting, trust me. But
the guard just kind of shrugs and goes, do whatever. This brothel might not, or this tavern might not be great though. There's apparently, I'm told, a lot of soldiers in the area, and they might be looking to perhaps stay somewhere in the city. So this one, as it's near the edge of town, might get a bit busy if you're looking for a bit of privacy for yourself.
Okay, are there any others?
Good to know.
And he goes, yeah, well, if you go out to, let's see, you want to go south down this street, you want to go past the market area, and let's see, yeah, there's another inn. It's just to the southeast corner of town. You've found another tavern down there.
Okay, and what's its name?
Oh, that's Penn's old place.
Penn's old place.
Yeah, you just go down south. Just keep asking for Penn's, and they'll tell you where it is. And he kind of like nods to you and continues scanning back around the street with his eyes. The older woman who makes her way to the front door area gets kind of a, like, sort of nonchalantly is getting a bit of a closer look at the party, though she is not seeming very suspicious. Like, she's not walking over and giving you a pointed Karen look. She's sort of looking at you guys and looking around. She turns to her left and cranes her head to look out to see the guards out in the street, to which she then takes another step out into the street next to Alloy, turns to the rest of your group and goes, "Oh, so I imagine you're probably very tired and looking for a nice place to stay, yeah?" And she kind of nods her head towards the building, and looking at the rest of your group goes, "That's a nice pair of children you've got. We've got a nice place inside. Might be good to keep them safe, yeah?"
First off, Talrand looks at this woman and trying to decide whether or not he sees anything weird about her.
Roll me in insight.
Chin.
I was looking,
Oh shit!
specifically looking. I was going to follow insight later to try and determine how she was acting.
Yeah, no, like roll
Trying to
an
see if
insight
she was
and ask a
disguising
question.
anything.
Okay, so
Yeah.
like a crit success and Esteban with a 17, she's trying to get you guys in off the street, like now. And she's definitely being a bit suspicious, but she is not threatening you. Like,
Alright,
she wants to talk to you guys. She'd like to get you inside. And she's kind of like kind of jerking with her head towards the tavern to be like, let's go into chat. Raynor, you see that the way that she's eyeing the kid, she knows the kid and seems protective.
All right, I'm gonna head back
Okay.
towards the group. Okay, guys, we got. Oh, hello.
And she turns to Caleb, and her eyebrows go up as she like looks you up and down really quickly, and she goes, "Hello, love. So you're all together then, eh?" Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
hop inside of the shade for a minute, because those soldiers that were outside of town might just be getting closer still.
Yeah, and she...
Right.
Oh, yeah, they are. You can absolutely see the soldiers outside of town are getting a little closer. They're approaching the gates of the outside of the town. She goes, "Yeah, you know, the kitchen in the back is very cool. It has a nice dirt floor for cooling your feet. Come on. And she waves and slowly starts making her way into the tavern towards the back room. Passing the one peasant gentleman who is sitting there at the table, he's eating a bowl of stew, and he looks up briefly at the group of you, and she points a finger at him and goes, "Put your face back in your bowl and eat your stew before I force feed it to you," and walks past him.
Oh, more now.
Whoa.
So,
Eat
guys-
your fucking lunch. Like,
all right. So, as I guess we'll go in, but as I do, I just turn to the air assistant. Eyes open.
yeah, eyes open.
And doubtful.
Alloy is going to yank on Snake's bindings and drag him along, just kind of trying to help sell the prisoner thing.
I'm just swearing at you all in abyssal.
So you guys
All over the
start
place. And
start making your way into the building. As you're dragging along, everybody, Talrand, you definitely come in and along, and she directs you guys through the back area and then into the kitchen space in the back, to which there is a large pot of stew that is currently being cooked, and no other people that are currently back there. The door that is there is currently closed, and she closes the two doors there. As you guys walk back in, you pass this one peasant guy who's still eating his stew. Eyes the kobold as you guys are going by and goes, "Is that a fucking kobold?" And then the older woman, again, like, turns past the rest of your group and goes, "Eat your fucking lunch!" And then continues walking back into the kitchen.
Kelly,
Ah!
Just the classic magic. Next level.
Just turns to the
Fireball.
peasant. Dude, just you heard her. Don't want to piss her off.
You heard her.
Just obey the lady.
It's good. It's good lunch, isn't it? It'd be a shame if it went cold.
So you guys make your way into the kitchen, and as you guys are all standing around, she closes the door to the rest of your group and turns to you. And hold on, let me quickly change some of the music here. She turns to the rest of your group, gets down on one knee, and opens her arm and goes, "Oh, Claire, sweetie, it's been so long." And she immediately kind of runs over to her and goes, "Marge!" and gives her a big hug. Looking up to the rest of your group, she obviously drops the facade almost and looks extremely worried and goes, "What the fuck are you all doing out here? Where did you find her? She went missing yesterday from some bullshit down in the southwest."
We encountered that bullshit in the southwest.
We
Long story.
encountered some bullshit north of here. That's not a problem anymore.
So she did escape town.
She
Yeah.
did, yes.
Oh, thank
Yep.
God. All right. Well, at least she's back and she's safe. And as far as they're concerned, she escaped. I imagine you took care of any folks that were tracking her.
There were.
Very much so.
No, there's
The,
not.
the
Good.
two that we encountered, at the very least.
Let me turn him into jerky.
She nods and goes, "Good, right. So, terribly sorry you got all mixed up in this. That group of people on the west side decided to open that establishment about a year ago, and we've all been looking for a way to get them rid of the town without, resorting to just burning it down. So, here we all are."
Why not burn it down?
Well, there goes Plan A.
She chuckles and
I can fix that.
No, that I wasn't using the voice, so that was out of character.
okay, yeah. She grabs an apple from a barrel and hands it to Claire, who happily munches away on it while you guys are talking.
But legit, I was trying to come up with a plan of how to burn the dang brothel to the ground and get away with it.
And she, as you guys are kind of standing there in the kitchen, she leans against the big table behind her and folds her arm, kind of looking between each of you and goes, "Right, so, are any of you actually human?"
Yes.
Wait, what?
Yes, we are human.
she looks like tilts her head in a way that if she was wearing glasses, she would be looking over their brims at you.
Starts eating the flowers out of her head again. Like,
Yep.
she's done with this. She's like, God was
All
gonna
right.
die.
Posthumously?
Also, if we wanted to burn down that brothel
Posthumously.
sooner, the
Yeah, the
answer
bad
to that
kind
is
of-
a burlesque show with the bad pipes.
It's just because she looks between the lot of you. First looking at Drakir and goes, "Right, so that's a clever spell. That'll work for most of the guards, but not up close. So make sure you keep a distance." Looks to the Caleb, the Air Genasi rogue, and goes, "That's good. Do something about your hair." Looks to Talrand and goes like, "That's good." Looks to the Kobold and goes, "That's good." And then looks over to Alloy and goes, "You tick when you walk, sweetie. You're gonna have to fix that."
Wait, what? What do you want?
You tick when you walk.
Great. Am I going to have to use my illusion to cover that up?
Like, watch. Tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, it's like you make ticking noises when you move, apparently.
You are a clockwork robot. We're lucky you don't cuckoo at the hour.
He's good for hiding stuff in, though.
Well, actually, he's not. There's not a whole lot of internal space in there. It's all clockwork.
Yeah, there's just a
Anything
bunch
to
of
make it
gears and
stand up.
machinery run by magic in there. It's quite literally bananas.
It's
Little
I'm
Orange
good for putting things in, though.
Little Orange Blaze, who's in the chat, You say, imagine just ditching the party at a critical moment, like during a fight when everyone's at death's door and you're the only healer left. I have had that happen to a D&D party where everyone had to re-roll their characters because everyone was killed except one person. That one person got to go back to town as a sole survivor of some awful, like, dungeon bullshit, and everyone else had to, like, be that person's new friend.
Snack would run out of spell slots and hit points before he abandoned his friend.
Well, it was just like they all got fucking murdered like halfway through the dungeon, and he was just like at the door healing people, and the last person went down, and he was like, "Well, fuck this," and just like ran out of the dungeon. And I was like, "Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Snack would ditch us if the king ordered him to, though. Like in a heartbeat, running the party and just ditch us.
Guys, we can't forget, as Kara pointed out, Talrand is full of bees.
Full of bees. I put bees in there. Fuck.
He's a skeleton.
What? You actually did that?
With a beehive in him. He's full of bees. I'm gonna say no, they didn't. Because that's absurd. And if you do want to put a full beehive in there, you're gonna have to roll for it.
I feel like that would be some serious nature checks.
When,
Yeah.
Or survival checks. One of the two.
Put a bunch of bees to sleep with some smoke, and then slip the hive into your chest.
Yeah.
when she mentions
Heartbeat will be anger. Anger forever.
when she mentions that Alloy ticks when he walks, he doesn't say anything. Like, he doesn't seem to say much when humans are around, but he just kind of gives her like through body language and stuff, kind of like seems to scoff at her.
Like,
And just kind of crosses arms and leans back against the wall.
Tick, 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 as you do it.
I do not tick.
Too
How
happy
dare
with
you?
this situation.
But yeah, so you guys, are standing in the kitchen. She kind of looks between each of you and goes, "Right, so what are you all doing here? I mean, you found Claire, and that's great, but where you going? What are you doing?"
Hunting slavers.
Oh, right. Well, that's nice. I mean, and she like points at Claire, and she's like, "Are you taking a child with you?"
Yeah. Well,
We kind of, after rescuing her,
uncertain
we
what
didn't
you
have.
were going to do with her.
She comes with us.
We kind of didn't have much better options after we rescued her.
No, that's fair. And she nods her head and goes, "Right, so I don't have an entrance to the underground here, but we do have a space where maybe we might be able to keep her out of sight. Take care of her for a bit and have her moved maybe to a different town so that they don't get their hands on her."
We do have a place where we know where she will be welcome,
Yeah.
and it would be shortly after we get to our destination that she will be there.
Are we 100% certain on welcome? We got the okay. We got the okay, but did we ever confirm she'd be welcome?
She comes with us.
And as you can see, some of our party members are very much of the opinion, myself included, that we're not. Where would you send her that she'd be safe?
Well, if you wanted us to keep hands on her for a little while, just stash her away in a place, keep her safe, keep her company for a bit, we have some places. Specifically, there is an underground, which I may or may not be a part of, that we could use to keep her safe.
And then we'll come back for her when we leave town. And she comes with us.
That works. If you want to stash her here for now and then come take her to... Where are you going to take her? And she looks to the rest of you like confused. Where are you even from? Like, I don't...
A place that's safe, with a wonderful king.
With a
We
king.
can sell her back when we leave.
We
though.
have a sanctuary that we're not really going to disclose where it is. You'll understand why.
Shrugs and goes, yes, fair.
Sneck needs to make one thing very clear. If she's not safe when we come back, Sneck will melt your flesh from your bones.
Sneck is a very all or nothing kind of
Roll me
cleric.
an intimidation check. 17. Okay.
Not bad.
At this point, Alloy's no longer trying to keep the illusion that Sneck is a prisoner. He's just letting it happen.
And Caleb's
Joke,
just,
yeah. So with that, she puts her hands up. She goes, all right, shit.
Caleb's just going to pipe up one thing I want to know.
Yeah?
Why are you helping us?
She kind of like looking between a few people again. She sort of leans and looks past you guys to the door behind you and tilts her head to listen to the door behind her as well. And then turns back to the rest of the party and goes, well, once upon a time, maybe I was not so different. And maybe having some folks give you a hand to help you every now and then is a valuable thing to have.
Wait, are you really a goblin or something like me? Said not long ago you were like us.
And she, like, tussles your hat
think-
a little bit and goes, no, shush.
I think she was referring to Claire.
But, okay. Somebody get my wig back. Or should I?
All right. The only reason I ask this is because
Yeah.
most people will take one look at us and either scream and run away or try to kill us.
And you picked a hell of a day to come into town because there's a fucking army just marching right outside the gates doing his sweep.
It was either that or try to hide from the army outside in the area they're trying to do a sweep in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
Didn't
hiding in
actually
the
have
hills
a
not bad. I don't want to be racist, but are any of you good at hiding in trees?
well,
She leans over to one side looking at Alloy and goes, not you, Tekka, I mean the rest of yous.
I'm reasonably good at it.
I could just turn invisible.
I am a scholar, not a tree climber.
She once again, like, sort of pats Piffle's hat and goes, of course you are, sweetie. Yeah, of course.
like,
Invisible. They've seen it. I can do it.
I
I can also set a lot of things on fire very quickly.
I mean, I can fly into them, but
I can show you the... Shining, shimmering, splendid.
Oh, that sound effect. Perfect.
We might have to make an MB snorting sound effect.
You're adorable.
I'm sorry, guys. It's worse in the summertime. It's better in the wintertime.
28 pounds.
don't apologize.
Oh, man.
But that's nothing to apologize for.
Chest congestion. We're good.
All right. She goes, right, so, if you like, we could maybe move us quietly to a more secret position so that when the soldiers come into town, we're not going to be missed. Yeah, they won't find us, and then we can move from there. How's that sound?
That would be appreciated.
Right. With that, she turns over and picks up a big potato sack, empties all of the potatoes out onto the table, and then holds it open towards Claire. And she goes, right, in you get. And Claire, not skipping a beat, goes, ooh, and hops inside the potato sack. She then pulls the potato sack up over the kid's head, quickly ties it shut on the top, and then turns to Alloy and goes, right, Ticker, you look like you could lift a lot. Carry the child, and we'll move as a group.
He just walks over.
It's like a science. It's just.
I mean, he's not really. He's a little careful with the bag, but he kind of just grabs it, lifts it up,
Just like holding it
over
out.
his shoulder.
You know what I'm gonna say? Give me either dexterity or sleight of hand, whichever you prefer.
Oh God, no!
Oh, Lord.
It's in very good trouble, isn't he?
Oh
Is it
no.
dex check?
Please be a nat 20. Please be a nat 20.
All right, hold it.
Please be more than
Sweet. So you got exactly on the nose. I was like, how hard do you fucking like smash this kid around while she's in a fucking potato sack? Give her a little blanket
man.
party. That's what's going on. But no, she like you hoist the kid up and you get it over your shoulder and it's fine. Like the kid doesn't necessarily like flop around or anything. She's like curled into a little ball there, so it just looks like you're carrying a sack of potatoes. And you've hoisted that over your shoulder. And she looks to the rest of your group and goes, right, so any other questions or are we good?
I feel like we should get.
Probably get moving.
Right. She turns to go back out this way, gets to the front door there that leads from that storage room to the rest of the tavern, and the tavern is unfortunately now packed with about 3 to 4 additional soldiers that are standing inside that area. She very politely does a turnaround and closes the door, turns to the rest of the group and goes, bugger. We'll have to go out the back. She sort of scooches past you guys to the back door there, opens the door, looks out both directions really quickly, moves outside, and then motions for you guys to follow. All right.
Seeing nothing.
You've seen. Ignore me!
What?
Alright, so then she'll sort of move down this way and make her way around the back to eventually the edge corner there where she'll peer up the street. While she's there, she motions for you guys to follow. Yeah, I know that it's not terribly exciting, but I am going to ask you guys to kind of move yourselves around and stack up where you want to stack up, just in the event that this goes hard and bad very quickly. So
I'm good with my positioning.
yeah, I just moved you because I imagine with the trackpad on your laptop, you might have been having some trouble.
I can see. Oh, I won't have to worry about that tomorrow when I get my computer.
Yay!
Yay!
So what do we see?
So looking up the street, you see walking past every now and then, there's a guard. One of the additional guards is now leaning against that wall there. And he's just kind of lazily looking about. But occasionally up at the top of the street in this direction, not on that street, but on the street that's just north of where you guys are, there are some soldiers marching down along that way. Like moving right to left. And so then she motions for you to move over to this next alleyway. And as she makes that motion for you guys to go, I'm also going to change the music because this is we're going to
Too
get back
lighthearted for
yeah.
sneaking.
This is some scary sneaky music.
We gotta
Alright.
we gotta be sneaky. Caleb, you gotta be sneaky.
So she motions for you guys to go, and while she's doing that, she steps out and starts talking to the guard. All right, sweet. I'm gonna get you guys to all roll me a stealth check.
Oh god.
Bitch.
Sweet. Nope.
Hang on.
Oh, fuck me.
Someone
Okay.
rolled the same stealth as me.
And they
No,
had to
some of
crit
them were,
fail to do it.
Worse stealth than you because it's a
We don't
crit
happen to
fail.
get advantage because she's distracting him, do we?
No. So what happens is, you guys, as she, like, motions for you to go, and she steps out to talk to the guard, she's like, oh, hey, Benjamin, how's your day? And he's just like, oh, hey, Marge. Oh, it's going by. How's you? And you guys are moving along. Drakir, you trip on the cobblestones a little bit, and Alloy, as you step from the grass to the cobblestones, your feet's clang, clang, clang as you're going along. And he sort of leans to look past her, and she goes, friends of yours? And she just, like, waves at him and goes, mind your business, Benjamin, before we tell your mum. And she's like, and he just, like, looks sad, and he goes, oh, shit, Marge, come on. Just, like, turns away from your group and goes looking up the street away from where you guys are. And she sneaks back into the alleyway behind where you guys are.
I was back to regular Talorand for a minute, but we
Clang, 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 clang.
immediately threw that out the window.
So many clanks in the chat for Alloy. All the clanks
Let's
in
get
the
some
chat
let's
for
get some
Alloy.
clanks in the chat.
Claire, clank, clank, tick, clank.
Tick tick clank, tick tick clank clank.
And so she, as she moves into this this dirt alleyway, she, like, motions for you guys to gather round. And she's like, right, so we're gonna keep moving west here until we get to the market, and then we'll have to move north a little bit through some small alleyways, but then we should be fine, so long as some people don't literally trip over the fucking ground or make a tremendous... I know you're carrying a child, sweetie, but you have to be quieter than that. She's like fussing at Alloy during that time.
Would it
And we
help if I
tie
put
rags
socks on
to his
Alloy?
feet.
Would it help if I put socks on him? It would be fun.
It's difficult because Alloy is also wearing a good amount of armor that rattles.
Yeah.
Entirely joking. We just gotta shove it full of bees. That the only stuff will be bees.
Maybe somebody here could give him a bardic inspiration.
Oh, I could do that actually, and I will. Yes.
Here's my bardic inspiration. It's big slippers, but they squeak when I walk. Yes.
Wait. I thought stealth was one of the few things bardic inspiration did not work on. Because
Oh, any ability
because it
check.
requires a performance, which is the exact opposite of stealth.
Require performance. Bardic Inspiration just adds a d6 to any roll that you make after, like, it's cast on you.
All right.
So
I
I
think
would,
if that depends on house rules kind of thing.
because like when I read the thing for
I'll allow
it, it's it says that so when you cast it on a creature other than yourself within 60 feet of who can hear you, that creature gains 1 Bardic Inspiration die, a d6. Once within the next 10 minutes, the creature can roll the die and add the number rolled to one ability check, attack roll, or saving throw it makes.
So while we're in this relatively quiet back alley away from a bunch of people, Piffles takes a moment to quietly hum a little tune to make Alloy better at sneaking.
Yebs.
So I guess I'm just used to other editions where it flat out states you can't use Inspire Courage or whatever it was that was the equivalent of Bardic Inspiration
Yeah.
for things like stealth.
Yeah.
I have a spell that won't work.
It really comes down to the DM's discretion.
I'm fine with it. I think it's okay. I will absolutely allow it.
Quiet. I'm trying to make you quiet. I'm trying to make you quiet. Shut up.
It's not like Piffles didn't roll really high on her stealth check.
You gotta be quiet. We're gonna sing the quiet song. Shut the fuck up. Do 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 do.
I'm quiet. Shut the fuck up. You gotta be quiet. Shut the fuck up. You gotta be quiet. Stop clanking everywhere. Shut the fuck up. Good.
I'm also thinking of Kronk sneaking now.
Okay, I think we're all waiting for her to move.
Really? You mentioned the Kronk, but I was desperately trying to work that into one of the XCOM lines I was recording this morning.
Yes!
Oh, nice!
But I just couldn't get it to work well.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Oh, hang on. I will be right back. There's a spider literally like maybe 5 inches away from my head. I'm gonna go take her outside.
Go for it. Get him.
I
We
ended
need to
up
wait
with
for
going with a line that's
her to move
Eris,
away.
play the Jaws theme, please.
Hey Doc, am I to assume each of the blocks is 5 foot?
Yeah. Each of them are 5
Okay.
5-foot squares. A lot of the maps that I've been finding do not fit well to the 5-foot square grid, or at least if they do, I don't know what size they're supposed to be. So fitting them in has been a smidge of a challenge, but we're working on it.
He's joined the city of spiders in the laundry room. We're good.
The City of Spiders.
Sounds like a
Literally,
place I will never go.
all of the spiders. I literally just put all of the spiders on the shelf in the laundry room that nobody uses because it's broken. So I'm pretty sure there's just a city there now.
Fair.
Hey.
Okay, we're waiting for shopkeeper lady to move.
Oh yeah. I just want to make sure everybody was ready. And back at their seats. So then yeah, she once again gestures for you guys to follow and moves sort of like in a half sneak, half nonchalant manner to the side of these large sort of stone. What's the what I'm looking for? Water things. They hold water.
Wells?
Yeah, water towers. There you go. So they're like
Basins, water basins.
yeah, like big stone containers full of water. We'll just move Piffles right up there.
I need to be with the group. Sorry.
Cisterns.
There you go.
Cisterns is the word.
That's
Yes.
the word. Yeah, the 2 big cisterns that are there. She's peering around. She does notice, or at least make note of the fact that there are 3 more guards that are relatively within this area. Turning to the group, she goes, right, so how do you want to play this? You want to go quiet and try to just sneak past him with minimal misdirection, or do you all want to really pretend to be people?
I'm gonna give a perception. How closely are the guards paying attention?
They're bored,
Direction.
but by the looks of it, where you're trying to get is this building. So
if we
you
took
could
the wrong
try
way
to go a
around?
different way, or you could try going like up and through one of the buildings, or you could just try sneaking past them. Like, it's up to you. But in terms of like looking at them, they're just kind of looking around. Like, they're sort of medium bored.
Medium.
I mean, this is
Alright. I wasn't on the right part of the map. Where are we trying to go?
You guys are trying to get to this area,
Okay.
that building there.
I mean, trying to stealth can be pretty tricky for the likes of me and Alloy, because I literally have a +1, Alloy has a +0.
Yeah.
Alloy has a disadvantage on 0.
I am the sneakiest.
So, Doc, can I move down to here? Like, do I see any guards if I come down this direction?
Yes, actually. If you move to that area while you guys are all kind of laying low, at that point, there is a guard standing here, and in amongst all of this area, there are a series of peasants who are more or less just manning their respective.
Actually, we're quite literally the last one we want to be wandering around. Get back here!
Yeah!
Yeah, I'll just sneak
Yeah,
back.
roll me a stealth.
Okay, hold on.
Dude. Because you're the one that's not eyes. Why are you sneaking?
Snap!
Dude.
Hold on, I gotta pull it up. There you go.
Fucking kobold.
A 5.
Oh no.
Damn it, are you swearing at the guards? Like, is that how bad? Like,
So
Got
the
it.
guard who is standing there, who was looking out at the rest of the town there. Sorry, he's not a guard. There is a peasant there who's running that little blanket of goods. So the guard who's standing right here. Let's move this so that people at home can see what's going on. Sneck went down to see if there's anybody in the market. There is a guard right there. He was looking out around over the town, but the rattle of your chains did get his attention. And he turns over to look at you, sees you standing there in your tattered robes with a pair of manacle and chains on you, and takes a step towards you, putting a hand on the hilt of his sword, going, "Oi, oi, oi, what's all this then?"
I head over and pretend to hit Snake in the back of the head with my staff.
Okay.
Like, Snake,
anybody
do you
else
take
going?
the initiative and pretend to be knocked out?
Well, I won't be knocked out, but I'll stumble forward, like take the hit and hiss at you.
Pretend to be knocked out. That's the.
No,
Yeah,
because then
it's
he's gonna carry my ass.
That we kind of have to get this at this point. You kind of screwed up.
So roll me either performance or deception. Drakir.
Does not make a difference which.
Are you trying to aid him, Talrind?
Yes.
Yeah, you're gonna try to aid him. Okay, so you've gone down to here. What do you? What would you like to do as Drakir walks up and pretends to club a kobold in the back of the head?
I pull out one of my nets and throw it over the kobold.
Sweet. I'm just gonna let you have that one instead of having to roll for it because it's an attack roll, but it's against an ally.
And he's not trying to dodge.
Yes.
No, not at all.
Do you attempt to dodge that net or do you take it?
Nope.
Okay, sweet. Do you try to sell that you're being captured?
Yes.
Roll me performance. Performance or deception, whichever one you want to do.
I think they're both charisma, so I don't think
Yeah.
it matters.
Well,
I really
it's
don't, but
whichever
either,
one you
so.
might have proficiency in.
Oh, true.
Neither, so.
All right,
the most
so
mediocre band of performers you could find.
yeah, Drakir walks up and is just like, and clubs him in the head. And you throw the net over top of Sneck. And Sneck is like, like,
Alan then proceeds to pull out a gold coin and flick it to the two guys and say, "Sorry, lads, our mark got away from us. We'll make sure we have him better contained next time."
yeah, the guard, takes his hand off the hilt of his sword to catch the gold coin, and sort of narrows his eyes looking between the bunch of you, and then looks at the gold coin and goes, "Right, well, keep him on a leash if you have to. Don't want him wandering
Hello.
around."
I literally pull out rope and start wrapping him up. Still in the net.
I never untied my hands.
Yes, well, you got away from us.
Yeah, but you
So,
wandered
I am-
off. Like,
You are now in a net, wrapped up in a rope, and I'm dragging you back.
There. We have to be able to sell this. It's like we're not going to go back. If it looks like you got away, we got to now make it.
Yeah.
But
Look
now
like
we
we're
are.
taking-
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We are expeditiously moving back. We're not having a discussion. We are leaving.
so you guys move back up to the rest of the group, and Marge is sitting there, like, with a look of disbelief on her face, like, "What are you doing?"
I was going to cause a
Sorry.
distraction.
All right, and Caleb's just
You
gonna
don't
look toward
cause a
Marge and-
distraction. I cause a distraction. You use it to sneak by. If you cause a distraction, the lot of yous are fucking dead.
Yes. This is Snack. He is a little bit of a
Idiot.
uh,
At times.
enthusiastic go-getter who doesn't think his plans through.
and she,
Wow.
Think them
I-
through, I just don't always react to things changing quickly.
looking around at the rest of the group, she looks up to the guard who's up there, and then looks to the guards that are at the end of the alleyway that you guys need to get past. She looks between the three of them and then looks back to you guys and goes, right, so if you could distract the one up here, and she just gestures to him, I might be able to distract the other two down there. And she gestures to the end of the street. And she says, then, if you go to the end of this alleyway and take a right and then a left, you'll be right in a tiny, tight alleyway. You want to take the first door on your left. That'll lead into a small weaving shop. We're under there. Does that sound good? Wait for me inside the weavers?
That sounds like it'll work. First left.
You go right, and then left, and then the first door on the left. That's right.
The one that everyone's highlighting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Drakiar,
Yes.
do you have any magic that could distract him? The guy to the north? But not too distracting?
I could.
Not
Oh,
without
no, I
setting
already cast it.
not without setting him on fire.
Hang on.
Sorry, what was that? What did you say, Pip?
I got another idea.
I do have a way with words, though.
Yeah, so do I. I'm looking for some fun this town, if you'll excuse me.
I'm pretty sure I've seen one of you guys use prestidigitation before.
Well, he's going up off of the street there.
Of course
Seeing
he is, because
he's like, I'm looking to have some fun. And off he goes.
Da, 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 da.
What's setting
Alright.
him on
Remember, I can't
fire?
exactly
Distract
use
him.
magic. I can't use. I'm just going to point out of character right now. I can't use magic to distract anyone right now, considering I'm spending every minute refreshing my disguise.
Alright, so
Illusion 2. I was like, I could cast Minor Illusion, but I'm already doing that.
I think it's so fun. Just imagine Caleb walking up the street, just walks up to the guard, is like, ever seen somebody do this, and lights himself on fire?
Fuck.
The guy's like,
Not
Jesus!
Don't do that. We know you're bad at sneaking, but that's going overboard.
So,
first
Caleb,
of all, I know I am not good at sneaking. I know I do not need a constant reminder of this place. Second of all, go up to the guard and say, hey, excuse me, bit lost, new in town, looking for some fun. Any suggestions?
looking at you, he goes, yeah, well, if you're looking for, well, it depends. And he kind of like shimmies a little bit, and his armor wiggles his eyebrows. What kind of fun you looking for? And while he's saying that, Marge moves to the edge of the street. I'm gonna quickly just zoom out my map a touch to kind of give us a bit of a bigger bird's eye view of what's happening. She nonchalantly walks past the guards, goes up against that wall, and then sort of dramatically puts her back to the wall and goes, "Oh goodness, this weather's giving me the vapors. Oh my, what's that old lady to do?" And the two guards kind of look between each other and then look at her and walk over to approach to see if she's okay. All right, those of you who are sneaking past, I want you guys to roll me stealth. Okay,
Please.
we got a 15. We got a 7.
Bardic
I have one good
inspiration.
roll tonight. Let it
Roll
be
that
this.
extra D6, Alloy. You got Bardic Inspiration.
Oh.
You still get a 14.
2.
God damn it!
I'll be a 9.
You
Okay.
and Drakar and Snack. Like, even I'm not very high for this roll, but it's.
Yeah, so
I
you
haven't
guys
seen past
you
it.
guys move to these locations and move up towards that alleyway. By and large, and I say by and large, but none of you get seen for the most part. Sneck, did you also roll stealth?
No, I'm waiting for Tolerant. I don't
He's
know.
already gone.
Talron's left. Talron's moved. He already
You're
rolled stealth.
waiting for Caleb?
He rolled
Caleb.
15.
Sorry, Caleb.
You're waiting. You're waiting
I
for
don't want to leave him
Caleb.
alone.
You can't remember, you're supposed to be a captive. You can't just be sitting there by yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be accompanied
Yeah.
by one of us at all
I
times.
imagine.
Halloran would have been making sure to pull.
Fine.
Yeah, like pull him along.
Still be.
That's okay.
Caleb's just talking to the guards. Gesturing.
Snack,
Hold on,
roll
I'll
me
I'll
some
stealth.
stealth. Okay, good. So two of you
Better than the rest of the party.
failed, but only just. So as you guys are walking by, let's see what we got here.
Shit.
Mhm.
Oh,
So
that's higher than most of our rolls.
So what happens as you guys kind of move and funnel into that area, as you're moving past, the two guards that are standing there, hear you guys going past, and one of them turns to sort of to look at you guys and to get like a better look at you, and Marge goes, "Oh, goodness me! Oh, me poor whips! Ah!" And she kind of hams it up a little bit, which turns the guard's attention back to her, and you hear her yelling something about how she needs a massage, and they should give one to her, and they both eventually go like, "Right, okay, Marge, you have a nice day. We're gonna get back to work," and they both return
Right now.
to their posts. You guys scooch inside the weavery. You find it at present unoccupied, save for one middle-aged gentleman, or a much older gentleman who seems actually move out of that spot, Esteban. I need that spot. That's where the chair is. Actually, I'll put him there. So he's sitting in this chair at this table, who's a quite a large man. And he sees all of you guys sort of funnel in and close the door behind you. I'll move Piffles in here. I'll just move you into right there. And do you guys close the door behind you?
Probably a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Ca-
Caleb's not
Caleb-
in here yet.
Before we continue on, can we resolve Caleb?
Yeah.
Yes.
Is he
you
flirting with the
can.
guard? What's happening?
Caleb, you're talking to this guard. He's giving you directions, and actually, after a couple of seconds, he attempts to move like to the spot where you are, so that he can gesture to the south and give you directions down that way. Do you let him move into that spot?
Yeah, I just back up.
Yeah. And he goes, right, so if you're looking for a good time, if you're a pious kind of man, you want to go north on this street here and hang a right and there's a church. If you want to be up to something a little more, let's say, garter-belty, depending on your tastes, you want to go south through the market, right, and then you want to go to the west. So if you're walking south, I think that's right. And he kind of like holds his hands up, making an L with both his hands. He goes, I can't read. Which one's an L?
It'd be that one just points to one that looks like an L.
And he goes, wait, so is that my left or is that yours?
That would be your left.
He goes, right, thanks. That's kind of you. So yeah, you want to go down that way. You want to hang a left and keep going. Ask some of the other guards that you'll find down there. They'll be more than happy to point you out to where you want to be.
All right, perfect. Well, I'm not exactly the pious type. I respect religion, but looking for a different kind of fun. All right, thanks. You've been a help.
And he's just like, right, okay. And he goes back to leaning against the wall in the alleyway there.
All right, just give him
where do you
give him
go?
a quick wave and head down this way.
Yeah. So as you round the corner, and you're heading in that direction towards where Marge was standing, over here, the two guards are returning to their positions, over leaning against the wall, and Marge is standing over against that small hut there going, oh, me poor sagging tits are so they need a massage, boys. You sure you don't want And they're both going, oh, God's Marge, please, not today. Like, they're just...
Wait, they're not moving?
Well, they seem distracted. She sees you. Roll me an insight check.
All right, insight. Not good.
Okay, cool. She steps into the street here as she sees you approach, eyes you, and goes, "What about it, lovely? You want to have a tussle? Hey, come on!" And she waves for you to follow her.
Oh, my insight. Oh, God.
You don't know why this incredibly ostentatious woman is attempting to lure you into an alleyway to give you a gum job, but you are inclined to follow. I imagine it's up to you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play this. I'm gonna play this out. How attractive would you say she is?
She's. I mean, especially considering she's in her 40s. Like, she's still like a hard 7.
A hard 7.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm gonna play it to my flaw.
She hot?
I can't resist a pretty face, and it's just yeah. All right.
You're like, okay. So she leads you along up this way and around the corner and into the weaver's shop.
All right, close the door. Holy shit, that was too close.
So yeah, just shortly after you guys close the door, it opens again. Marge comes in with Caleb and closes the door. There is a large man sitting in a chair. He has a huge white beard, and he's completely bald on the top of his head. He's sitting at the table, and amidst all of, like, the weaveries and stuff, there's, like, a spinning wheel and large needles and threads and other stuff for making yarn and turning it into bolts of cloth and all that stuff. He is sitting at a small table in the almost center of the room, doing absolutely fuck all with any of this equipment. He does look also strangely out of place, because he's not only not interacting with any of the equipment, he's not saying anything, and he does not look at all like the kind of person to do something with his hands that don't involve crushing things. Silently, he sits at the table and watches as each of you funnel in, and then when Marge comes in the door, he looks to her, gives a silent nod, and goes back to looking at the rest of your group. She closes the door, looks to him and goes, "Oh, hello, Clay, how's your day?" And he just nods.
This is the most intense inventory manager I've ever met.
Yeah. She kind of looks about the rest of the group and goes, "Oh, don't let his look fool you. He loves to crochet. Don't you, Clay?" And he just sitting at the table. Continues to look incredibly unimpressed at everything. And yes, this is an interpretation of Clay Ghoul. We're just gonna increase the size of his icon there briefly so people can get a look at him.
Flavored orc.
What's that?
It says it's a human flavored orc.
Yeah.
Oh.
Is he
Arcana.
disguised by some kind of
Chat is
illusion?
getting- Everyone in the chat is getting very upset that you keep calling this woman like 40 and ancient and things, because Tom Berry's 40 today, right?
Well, I mean, she's over 40. She's in her 40s. And she's getting on in years. And yes, back in the medieval days with no health care, if you made it to your 40s, you were an old woman.
I have healing magic.
Dude, if you made it to your 20s back then with all your original teeth, you were a keeper.
Yeah, and I know they have healing magic and things. I apologize if I've made somebody feel upset.
You were a spinster at 17.
Anyway,
So, either way, yeah,
That
with a
check.
20
Can I-
in Arcana,
Is
to
he
see if
being
there's
disguised
any
by an
magic
illusion?
about him, there is astoundingly no magic that interacts with this guy on any level. He is just a large, angry human being. So, yeah, he's kind of just sitting there at the table, given the rest of the group sort of a mixture between stink eye and just maybe that's his face, you're not sure. So, I think resting old grump face. Yells you a cake. Also, that was another thing that I wanted to mention today that we didn't get into, but it is Tonberry Queen's birthday today. our very own best and brightest Tonberry Queen, the single best moderator that I've ever had on this channel. Yes, I'm throwing the rest of you under the bus. Is doing a fantastic job.
Wow.
And she's working so hard, and so I grant you requests to take breaks if you need to, like I've been telling you to. So yes, have a good time. And yeah, happy birthday. Congratulations. You're fantastic, and you're a very good friend of mine, and I appreciate everything that you do for me and for the community at large.
And even Terry,
Yeah,
next
next
your kiss.
You are
She was
absolutely
definitely
amazing,
threatening to flay
Tonberry.
you, Doc, so be careful.
What's that?
Yes, chat, Mom.
She was threatening to flay you
Oh yeah, well,
into bits.
must be a day that ends in a Y.
And I feel like it's not her regular stabbing.
You owed her a cake. She might just make the cake out of you.
You know what, Tonberry? If you come out here, I will. I quit. $10 donation for Quad. I quit. That's a weird resignation. Here's $10. I'm leaving.
Quad, when you quit, typically we demand money.
So yes, happy birthday to you, Tonberry. You are fantastic. I tremendously appreciate all the work that you've done for us here at Evil Incorporated. It is amazing. And yeah. Actually, and you know what? As a small little gift, as recompense, I will give you this.
Happy birthday, Tonberry.
There you go.
Somebody clip that.
So yeah, as you guys are kind of like tightly funneled and packed into this very small weavery shop, you guys are standing about. She squeezes past you guys to the corner over there, and moves a few bolts of cloth that are on the floor to one side, and stamps her foot 3 times on one of the floorboards, and a stairway opens up. A stairway that goes down. And she motions for you guys to head down.
Oh,
Heading on down.
Get
In the old lady's
the
hole.
God. I never thought anyone would say that to me again.
Get in the old lady's hole.
Wait.
Thanks, I hate it.
you're going in the hole, Doc.
All right, so everybody piles in, and shortly after, as you guys are heading down the stairs, you find yourselves in a cellar that seems to expand out into a larger space. There are casks of what appear to be wine, different work tables with a bunch of papers and notes on them over to one side, and facing against the back, you also see milling about. There's a few peasants here working very quietly. When the stairs open up and you guys start making your way in, all of them freeze what they're doing. They all stop and they don't move. And coming down along with you, though, is Marge. So she kind of like waves at them and they go, oh, okay, and they nod and they continue going back to what they're doing. Some of them are writing reports, some of them are reading and going over certain things. Sitting in the back corner, though, in a large ornate chair, is this person. And they have a long dagger that they're sort of playing with, and they're draped in what appears to be like sort of a mixture between fancy and peasant clothing, but they're sitting on this large ornate chair, sort of overseeing everything that's happening in the large expansive underground area. There are a series of hallways and doors that sprawl off in different directions, which if you look down some of them, they go quite a ways. So there appears to be a pretty extensive underground that exists beneath the village that these people are using. And yeah, you see all of you guys coming on in, and she gestures to all of you to come in, and she gestures for you, Alloy, to give her the bag.
Wait a minute.
Brings the bag around his shoulder and just holds it out to her.
And she just
With the potato, baby.
insight. What are you looking for?
What are her intentions?
Who?
The woman who's
The
demanding the child.
Mm-hmm. We don't know her.
Oh, Marge or the girl in the back?
girl in the back.
I thought you said the girl in the back was demanding the child.
No.
She doesn't know the child's in the bag.
No,
Okay,
yeah, no.
oh,
Marge
Marge.
was
You were talking about
was
the woman in the back, and then you're like, and she tells you, gestures to hand over the bag.
That's my bad. My bad. Yeah, no. Marge gestures for the bag. And you-
Okay, Marge. So far I trust.
Okay. But yeah, the individual seeing all of you guys come in doesn't move. Just continues to sort of pick their nails with the tip of a very long dagger. And Marge then turns to the rest of your group, takes the bag, helps it down onto the ground very, very gently, opens the bag up, and lets Claire on out of the bag. Claire's out of the bag! And into this place. Ding! And there's Claire. Boop. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put that over in the corner over there so it's not in the way. And then I will also move the camera a little bit.
Go
like
into the
this.
corner, child.
And Claire, getting out of the bag, goes, "Aw, it's dark." And she sort of looks all... She goes, "It's gonna be boring."
What do I have in my inventory?
All right.
Let's see if we
Just
have, no.
I'll give her one of my kazoos, but I don't know if that'll.
Talrin proceeds to reclaim his net and rope from around Snack for right now.
For now.
all right. I want to use insight to check the reaction of the girl in the throne.
Snake, why are you using a spell that's entire purpose is make as much noise as possible?
No, it has multiple purposes. In this case, it's making all the candles brighter.
Yeah.
His
Okay.
Claire said it was dark and she didn't like it.
Yeah, so you cast your spell and the candles get a little bit brighter, and Claire claps her hands and laughs at the fun thing that's happening in front of her. But yeah, hold on, let me see if I can find a fucking proper goddamn bit of music. No. Fuck. Bugger me. Well, no. No. Those are all fighting things. We'll go with this. Okay. So, and yeah, Marge sort of again brushes off her apron, straightening herself a little bit, and turns to the figure sitting in the chair in the far corner of the room and goes, "Right, so we've got this one rescued now, a little more proper than before, and we're looking to keep her here this time and not try to move her around." The individual silently sits at the other side. Caleb, with a 10 in insight, it is extraordinarily hard to read this person. Mostly they seem quiet, and they're just sort of scanning over everybody. Snek as well with a 12. It's very hard to read this individual as they look over your party. Anybody else want to take a stab?
Talran had a 17 earlier. Oh, I guess 18 now.
Well, now he has an 18.
There you go.
I will try a thing.
Howard also just wants to generally look around the room for just observing things.
Insight.
Oh.
I'm not that insightful.
That's okay.
Piffin, you're...
If nobody else wants to take a stab
Alloy-
at it, that's fine.
Aloy's gonna take a look around, but he's
I already
mostly just
took a
seeing
stab
if
at it.
anyone if anyone's like making any threatening moves. That's like all he's looking for.
Oh, okay, yeah. Nobody's making any threatening moves. You can see, like,
All right.
you see the peasants that are just kind of going over stuff. You don't like they don't look armed, so it seems fine. The only person that's really armed right now is the individual in the chair. Esteban, you looking at this person, especially considering your previous experience within human culture in the Empire above ground, that person is a spy master. That person is an assassin, and they just... You like, looking at this person, they are scanning over your group, almost ignoring the kid, but looking between each of you, and if they could reek of death, they would.
More or less than I do.
Hard to say. Not in the physical, literal sense that they smell like death, but in the sense that they...
Not
are
like a bringer of
dangerous.
death.
They are still deciding what to do with the group of people that are here. Looking through the rest of your group, eventually their gaze falls on Marge, and goes, "The child escaped once. What need have we of the child now?" And Marge goes, "Well, all of our friends here were traveling around and said that they had some business elsewhere for a bit, but then they were gonna come back and take the girl to a kingdom somewhere." The figure in the chair raises their eyebrows and looks over the group and goes, "A kingdom? Really?"
A sanctuary of sorts.
The king will protect her.
And she...
I'm gesture over to Snake. Quiet right now.
Literally need to muzzle Snake to get him to shut up. So
We
pretty
could
much just only...
just like, like doing like the cross across the throat thing, like, "No, shut up." Hit him on
X-nay
the
about
head.
the king say.
Like,
It's a flaw. Leave me alone.
that's okay. The figure in the chair tilts their head to one side and goes, "A king, you say? Kings are in short supply in an empire such as this. Tell
There
me
is
of your
only
king."
one king.
Shut.
We all acknowledge how great the king is. Can we just, for now, please?
Tell me about this king.
He's
Oh,
a great king. We prefer not to go into more.
He's very cool. Best king.
He has a very nice rumpus room. There's bumper pool and everything.
You could see why we would not want to devolve. What's the word I'm looking for?
Disclose.
A
Disclose.
sanctuary remains a sanctuary, the less most people know about it.
Gibbs.
We
The king
wish to
doesn't
keep.
need. The king doesn't need to be sneaky. The king can deal with any problems that comes his way. King looks after everybody. Everybody who's
Snack.
worthwhile.
Next,
Snack.
by doing this, you're going to create more problems for the king. Do you want to do that?
The king can handle his own problems. The king needs
No,
people
no,
to
no.
respect what he is.
Yeah, he
Th-
can, but we have
Absolutely,
our
but
own.
you are actively creating more problems for the king.
Do you want to have
Right now.
the king clean up your problems? Do you want to dump all your issues onto him?
Well, now, that all depends.
Snake's not making problems. King likes murdering things that do stupid.
Shh. Just talk.
Keep the fuck shut up, asshole. like, like, the individual in the chair kind of like shifts a little bit and curiously, again, still looking over the party and goes, "Your king sounds very interesting. I imagine he and I would have a lot in common."
How so?
Snake's pretty sure the king would just murder you.
Snack.
And they smile and look at the group and go, "I imagine so."
He is very judicious, King. And I'd debate telling you more if this was even an even less public place.
And the individual
pointedly looking at the peasants.
Yeah, the individual sort of points the dagger towards Sneck in not a threatening fashion, but sort of gesturing, and goes, "Do you all not like kobolds where you're from, or is this part of?" They gesture to the rest of the group. This.
You know what I am?
It leans forward just a little bit in their seat and says, "I know you're wearing a spell. I know he is, actually, and I know that one is too."
I'm actually not wearing a spell.
You're not wearing a spell? I thought you were using.
He's in a mask.
Oh, that's right. You got your mask on.
I have 3 casts of my spell that lasts for an hour.
Ah, right.
That is not a whole lot of a time.
You were saving that. Yeah. And yeah, no, and the individual just kind of continues to look between individuals in the group, and Marge, strangely nervous, for the first time that you've seen her, steps forward and goes, "Right, well, they're not strictly speaking human, but you know, we don't exactly work within the graces of the Empire either, as it were, getting by, and I think maybe standing about there's maybe enough room underneath the Empire for each of us to live just fine, yes, for now? Does that sound good?" And she kind of looking back and forth between the individual in the chair and the rest of you.
Sneck has no quarrel with you. Sneck has no wish to interfere with your business in any way. Sneck just needs somebody to take care of Claire.
When she mentions being against the Empire, Alloy kind of does a double take at her and looks kind of surprised.
Against the what?
Yeah, and she sort of like slowly turns to you and gives you like a what kind of look. Oh, Drek here. You're doing an insight. What are you doing?
Just watching their reactions and like trying to get an idea what the hell's exactly going down on here, down here, going on down here, with that whole mention of being against the Empire.
It looks as though this is. I mean, you've never seen a spy network before, but there are some people obviously living literally physically underneath the town. So it's possible that they're getting up to some strange business. And yes, Sneck, I got your persuasion there because you were just asking them to take care of Claire briefly.
And that we're not a threat to her business. Like, we're not competition, basically.
All right. That being said, Caleb's just going to pipe up. You asked for a description of our king. Let's just say he is a collector of and preserver of lost souls, and let's just say
describing it as a sanctuary
endangered species.
Well.
And they like nod at you and they go, "Yeah, okay, all right. I can respect somebody who likes to keep friends close." Now, you're on some business moving through the Empire, and I imagine it's not doing any work for the Empire. Am I correct?
No, it's...
No. Never.
Acolyte Sneck pulls out his holy symbol with a skull with carved blue flames and says, "King looks like this, but better, and with a body." Now, the individual in the chair raises their eyebrows and leans forward, inspecting the medallion from across this basement. And goes, "Very interesting."
Alan looks around at any of the rest of the peasants to see if the rest of them look at it.
The rest of the peasants that are there are trying their very best to continue doing their work and not look at you because they think maybe if they don't look at you, then if all of this goes crazy, they won't be able to identify you in a lineup or something. They can confidently and honestly say they didn't see nothing.
For the ones that are trying to get a look, can I just shoot a look back that just says, you don't want to?
Yeah, are you trying to intimidate?
Yeah.
I'm going to do the same.
Yeah, go for it.
Next to it after we're talking about the king, so.
Intimidation, that's a 1. Oh boy.
Am I fairly certain that no one is looking at us?
Fail. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So with an 11, there is like one peasant when you go, King's looks like this, but better and with a body when you're holding up the medallion. One of the peasants who's like going over paperwork looks over their shoulder, catches eyes with Drekir, and goes and looks back at their papers again, and tries their best to just forget that you guys exist. So, and yeah, the individual, the white-haired person in the chair says, right, so if you're not working with the Empire, I would imagine you are either working on your own or you're working against them.
We are largely working against.
I would imagine so. You don't seem like the kind of folks that the Empire would typically allow in and around their business.
Well, with policies the Empire has put in place, pretty much everything to do with them is now our business.
And your business with the Empire is, unfortunately, now also my business. And they gesture to Claire, who's happily kind of sitting on some stairs, twiddling her thumbs, and goes, if I am to keep an eye on this child for you, even temporarily, we are going to need to know some things. Firstly, you can relax. And kind of gestures to the group. You can remove your disguises if you like. You're amongst company here. Esteban with an insight of 21. What are you looking for?
How much do I trust the words that are coming out of her mouth?
This person,
Thank you.
they are telling you the truth. Like, they are speaking evasively, but they are not lying.
Alloy is going to step forward and say to the person in the chair, and why should we trust you, human?
They smile and look up at you and say, well, because it's a big world, friend. And there are a lot of us who are not terribly fond with how things are run. So, maybe I help you, you help me.
I looked at Talrand with a look that's like, how on the level is she?
She's not lying as far as I can tell.
You can say a lot without lying.
I walk towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Specifically trying to occlude my face from the rest of the room.
Mm-hmm.
And take off my mask for a moment.
They grin at you when you take off your mask too, and I imagine you're attempting to reveal your face only to them.
Yes.
Okay.
Like I put all of the peasants, and I did pretty good checks on my looking around to make sure I knew where all the peasants were earlier. And so, I just take my mask off before.
Yeah. When you remove your mask, and I imagine you're just doing it like briefly to show. As you remove it, and then like when you remove it to show, they smile at you, and sort of and like not in a mischievous or sort of in a negative kind of fashion. She's not being. They're not being derisive. They smile at you and say, "There you are."
That's weird.
All right. Caleb's just gonna take like a piece of cloth and remove the makeup from his face. Just remove the disguise.
Piffles is gonna cautiously take the hat off her head and let her ears out. Shake them a little bit because they're sore.
Snack will just slip the ropes.
This individual looks around each of you in the room as you guys are doing this. What are you looking for, Drek, here? With 5 perception and 15 arcana, what are you doing?
I'm taking a look at her. I'm trying to discern whether or not, if we're the only ones who aren't human in the room. If you would get what I mean.
So far as you can tell, they're a human being. Can't quite tell if it's a boy or a girl. For the arcana, there does not appear to be any magic at play. At least not on them.
With the whole being underground and all the darkness, I was starting to get a vampire vibe.
Yeah, you're not getting anything like that off of them. As you guys start like taking off your hat, shaking your ears out, like rubbing off your makeup, Alloy does not remove his wraps, but seems to be at odds with himself. That's fair. As you guys start doing that, the individual in the chair snaps their fingers, and everybody else who's in the room, all the peasants, say nothing. They just immediately put their quills down, get up, and leave. Walking into different... Marge stays where she is by the stairs with Claire. But yeah, they all leave into a series of like tunnels and rooms and things like that beneath this space.
Well, given that they've... all the peasants have left, then I let the spell drop.
And yeah, as you are revealed, this person looks between each and every one of you and smiles. There you all are. Come, sit. And they gesture to some of the now vacant chairs in the room.
Halloran sits down.
So does Drek here.
All right.
Halloran gestures to Claire to come sit as well.
Claire happily sort of trots across the room, and she hops up onto one of your knees and takes a sit.
I give her some dried fruit.
She munches away on it very happily, because she was about to start asking you for things at random. Then you gave her food, so now she's quiet.
Halloran has dealt with small children before. You can only ignore them for so long.
She literally like plops down in your lap, turns to you and goes, and you're like, fruit. And she's like, yay! And starts eating, and now...
Opens her mouth, starts saying something, fruit goes in. Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I'm getting any... I was trying... With that insight, I was just like trying to understand what she meant by there you all are.
With a 10, when they say there you all are, it's more in reference to the fact that you're not hiding anymore. That you don't need to hide in their sight.
I'm gonna sit on the floor near Tolerant and Claire and munch on some halfling jerky.
Nice.
Mark off another fucking halfling jerky so you eventually run off out of that stuff.
Oh, I got that.
Mark it off!
Whatever cash mark
I'm
you
gonna
get.
offer it to everyone.
Piffles.
My cooking is good.
We need to have a chat about the halfling jerky.
Alloy makes
Cutie just
the
posted- Cutie
correct
just posted
decision to
fan art.
continue standing, because if Alloy sat in one of these wooden chairs, he would probably obliterate it. Oh, Cutie put some stuff in the art section.
I mean, she forgot one thing. She forgot the tick, 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 tick.
I got the
No, but someone in chat was saying that if your eyebrows raised, did it make a worse sound? That's referencing.
Oh my god. Okay, so I want to show that to to people here. There we
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
There's the
It's the.
fantastic. Thank you so much, Cutie. That is amazing.
As always,
Cutie
it is amazing.
Kitsune, the chronicler of the B team.
Yes.
All right, so Acolyte Snack joins Piffles in eating some halfling jerky, and Caleb leans against the wall facing towards the Spy Master. The individual looks between each of you, and then looks to Marge, standing at the stairs, and gives just the slightest of nods. Marge bows very deeply, standing up, again, straightens out her apron, looks to the rest of you, gives like a tiny wave, and then heads up the stairs and disappears.
Totally in danger down here.
The individual looks then to the rest of you and says, "You may call me Shaw. Mithril Shaw."
Hello, Shaw.
These are my tunnels.
They're nice tunnels.
What would I roll to see if I recognize that name?
History?
That is a 0. Let's see what I get, folks. Is it a big heap of... Yep.
It's 4.
It's a big fat 4. Torin's the only one who can roll good history checks. Oh, and now
Drakiar,
apparently.
Drakiar trumps me, but
You would have no reason to know the information.
Well, I have the books. I had the books that the king would have in the underground, but which is very limited.
I'm gonna
Yes,
say,
so
I'm gonna say
on.
So Drakir, through your academic knowledge, Esteban through your experience on the surface when you were alive, and Caleb through your experience on the surface when you were alive more recently, like this is, you don't know who this individual is. The name Mithril or Shaw is strange. It's definitely not something that you recognize. You've never heard of this person before, but you know a criminal underground when you see it. But
question.
Yes.
Did I roll high enough to know what region of the world that name would probably be more where that naming scheme would come from?
No. This does not seem to match any of the normal naming conventions that you would know of for any of the Empire's regions.
it's quite probably a handle that somebody's using. You know, like a spy master.
Yeah, it's just I'm just wondering if it was based off where they came from or not. I figured it was a.
Yeah. Sean leans back in their chair, still holding the dagger and sort of twisting it against the nail on their tip, and goes, "You may call me Shaw. Others less fortunate call me Mithril."
I appreciate that.
Snack a snack.
And raising their eyebrows, looks at you guys and goes, "Well, don't appreciate me yet. You want me to watch a child. A child who, in this town, is carrying a lot of heat. And in addition to that, you want to move around on the surface doing your business. I am not against this.
What exactly did you have in mind?
Well, I can watch your kid. More to the point of that." And they eye Claire for a moment and then look back to the rest of the group. "I could train her."
What do you mean by train her?
Presume as a rogue.
The last people who had her also wanted to train her. What sort of training did you have in mind?
Oh, nothing quite like that. Don't you worry.
Oh, good.
And they kind of wiggle the dagger in their one hand a little bit. Something more like this. That way, In the future, if the need arises for her to defend herself, perhaps she is more prepared for such things. Does that sound good?
I see
That
what you
would-
mean. And he just pats his rapier.
You get it.
Piffle looks up, being a gobbo, and knowing that everything comes with a price. But if you're training her and you're spending your time and energy on her to do all of this, what do you get out of it?
Very plainly, they look over to Piffles and just with the blankest look on their face say, I want in. Whatever you're doing to stick it to the Empire, I want in.
All right, just look over to the group.
I
Look back to
King
Shaw.
would want us to be working with a human assassin.
Drac here with a 20 in insight. What are you looking for?
How honestly is is that desire to strike at the Empire?
Hundo P.
All right, I just look at the others. They all seem to believe what Shaw is selling, and Gil will
Except
just
for
pop in.
Alloy.
Incredibly skeptical of this person.
All right, so
I mean,
Uh,
number of
I-
us have.
yeah, I'm not gonna talk.
Alloy just says to the group, like, I do not like the idea of working with humans.
Me? Neither. I mean, Caleb's okay. Like, he's decent, but like, I don't know these people up here, and I do not trust them.
You'll forgive us for being hesitant.
And they, like,
We've
Shaw
all been chased, and some of us have been burnt worse than others, as it were.
and Shaw gives Talrand a pointed look and says, well, I would be a bit concerned if you weren't cautious. Especially when it comes to folks like me. And more so when it comes to folks like you.
Can you tell us why you want to take that to stick it to the Empire so much?
And they kind of lean back in their chair again, still holding their dagger, and they say, funny old saying, the brighter your light, the bigger your shadow. And the Empire casts a very big light. And as such, the shadows that they cast are all the bigger. Who's breathing into their microphone?
And
That's the same thing.
Was it me? I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's a new mic.
I'm not used to it being so close to my face.
That's okay. But yeah, they say that it's just, you know, the brighter the light, the bigger the shadow, and the Empire has a very strong faith to the light, and as such, casts a very large shadow. A lot of
Would you
people
allow?
get left behind. I wouldn't expect you to know, because at the very least, some of you, and they eye each of you individually, some of you aren't from here. So I would not expect you to understand. But they try to do good things, and in doing this, leave very big gaps for people to fall in. Hence, and they gesture to the room, this.
Would you allow us something to to address our concern?
Like what?
2 simple questions, yes or no, under a zone of truth.
They think for a moment. Very well.
Okay, Snick will cast Zone of Truth, and the 2 questions that will be asked will simply be, do you intend to betray us to the Empire? Followed by, if pushed into a corner, will you betray us to the Empire?
So you cast your spell, and they just continue sitting in their chair, and you ask, are you going to betray us to the Empire? And they just shake
Yes
their
or
head
no?
and say, no.
If you were boxed into a corner, will you betray us to the Empire to save your own skin?
And again, they shake their head. No. It's bad for business. We all
Okay.
know the risks
And-
getting into this kind of work. It does not behoove us to stab each other in the back the second things get rough, which they will.
And in good faith, I dismissed the spell because she can feel that the spell's there and she'll know that it's gone.
Mm-hmm.
But I said 2 questions, and that was all I'm asking.
Quad, why are you getting... Oh, was there a bot?
There was a not a bot, but some like salty person who I guess goes around to every D&D stream to be all like, D&D is a bad game.
There is a turd in our chat. Flush it. We have no need for those sorts of people.
It gone.
Good. Shoo.
Bye bye.
Shoo. That's why we have mods.
Yes.
Yeah. Shaw looks between each of you. Again, just kind of like as you guys are talking, is just sort of like scanning over and giving each of you a very sort of appraising look, measuring one after the other with their gaze.
Shall we give them the rundown on what we plan to do? Shaw, the rundown on what we plan to do, friends?
First,
Oh.
Shaw, in good faith, Sneck does not think you have the magic for it, but I asked you 2 questions, you can ask me 2 questions. I suspect you could tell if I was lying.
And they just, like, their gaze zeroes in on Sneck. And not in a way that is threatening, but in a way of, like, someone being put into targeting sites in a very social sense. Without moving in their chair, they say, "You say you have a king. Where does he rule?"
Christ, player-wise, I'm forgetting the name of the actual place.
Automath?
Okay, and that would be my answer. Just Automath.
And after a moment, they say, "And that is to the north?"
Do not tell them where our home is. Dude.
Sneck kind of like turns around on the spot and goes, "I'm not sure." And to be honest, he just doesn't know.
The wastes, dear.
Like, I'm going off the idea that
And I
yes, she
would
knows
say yes.
the north. There is a lot in the north.
Mm-hmm.
No, she's clarified the way, since Sneck would say yes.
Mm-hmm. And then they go, "Okay, so that reveals that," and they point to the hems of Sneck's robes. "You've got some dust on you from the wastes. It's a very particular shade of gray. You won't find it anywhere else in the Empire."
Thank you for that. And Sneck would actually start trying to like knock the dust out of his robe.
Good instincts. Folks like me might notice those sorts of details, other people not so much. But it does betray your origin, and they may be able to follow you, so you must be careful moving through these places.
Yes.
Sneck appreciates free advice.
Well, if we are
So-
to be happy comrades in this particular regard, then it would be best for us to work to each other's benefit.
I do not trust this.
You've proven that you don't plan to, that you probably won't.
Basically, will not betray us.
Probably.
She can resist the spell, and we would not know.
No, actually, if she lies, I would absolutely know if she had was telling the truth or not.
Unless she beat your DC.
Well, it depends on whether or not she let it happen or not, which would be in poor taste.
Indeed.
But situations can change. What is true now doesn't necessarily remain true.
As it stands, it does not serve me, now or later, to lie. Not to you, and not about this.
That is why I said probably won't betray us.
It
There
does
is
not
essentially-
serve me to betray you.
There
You
is
are,
essentially
what, 6?
one individual we all collectively trust.
Doc, for clarity, did she fail a check for Zone of Truth?
No.
Or did she just... Yeah, so I would have... So, because she basically didn't resist it, so she basically automatically fails to save,
Yeah.
I know that her yes to the I have no intention of betraying you, and even if I'm boxed into a corner, I will not betray you, to the Empire specifically, were both true statements.
That being
Yeah,
said, the rest of the group is still allowed to press X to doubt, even if you have magic
Oh, yeah.
that says it's not a thing.
Oh, yeah.
Talon is pressing Y to go with. I'm going to
I would
half
like
trust
to
you.
remind you,
Yeah.
Kadaka, you've specifically asked to the Empire. You did not ask if you would betray
She's
us or
an
not.
assassin. Come on, there's limits.
Yeah, and we have more enemies than just the Empire.
Absolutely. But it's also just an understanding of, like, cannot... She could never not know if she was going to betray us ever, because if it came down to her people or us, it's going to be her people. And that's just, Sneck would think the exact same way, which is why that's not how the question was phrased for that reason.
Well, of course. Alloy's been pressing X this entire time. See?
Long story short, we plan to go knock over a demi person's slave camp down near Ogden, and then go on a smash and grab spree pretty much around the kingdom.
Now, for the first time in the entire time that you've been speaking to them, Shaw's eyebrows raise up, and just the smallest amount of surprise finds purchase on their face. You're going to hit the Ogden slave markets.
That was the plan.
Yes.
Tear it to shambles entirely off.
They smile and lean back in their chair again and go, "Color me impressed. I might even be able to help you."
How?
Well, Ogden being a town of mercenaries and other things as such, Ogden rather, being a town of mercenaries and adventurers and other folks that are trying to seek their fortune out in the... Please move the microphone away from your mouth. You are just breathing into it repeatedly.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Sorry.
That's all right.
And I'm just gonna move it further away. It's hard because these are a little big on my head, so they keep sliding forward on me.
That's okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
I got it.
Here you go.
Mm.
It's
These microphones are a careful, controlled breathing. It comes with practice, so
it
don't
does. But yeah, they say if you're going to be hitting the slave markets south of Ogden, there are some pieces of information that I might be able to give you to help you out. And maybe if you find some things there that would be of interest to me, we can do a trade. You come back for the girl, you bring maybe some things you find while you're down in the market. No people, of course. We don't trade in the living.
They won't be around here for long.
Of course. And then, you maybe get me something from the slave markets, and I keep an eye on your kid and give you some information. How's that sound?
Define something.
The slave markets likes to deal in a very specific type of inhibitor cuffs.
Oh, those.
You've seen them.
We currently
Slap down a pair onto the table.
Yeah.
we do have like 2 pairs left, I think. Hold on, let me pull up the
the list.
Let's just say we found a group that headed a little bit too far north.
And they learn that we don't appreciate their kind up there.
They hunt far and they range fast, but they do all their
It is all
trading
kind
in
of
a
funny.
singular location. That being said, if you could bring me as many pairs of those cuffs and as much of that chunky jewelry that they wear, then I would say that that's a halfway decent deal in exchange for watching the child, keeping them safe, and giving you some information.
You plan to use the cuffs against the Empire?
They nod.
Ow.
Well, this may come as a surprise to you, because I'm not exactly sure where you're from, but the Empire does employ quite powerful spellcasters. And I'm not necessarily positive as to what the ceiling is on these inhibitor cuffs, but I would like many pairs of them so that we may, A, figure out how they work, B, see exactly how strong of a mage we can inhibit with these cuffs, and C, see if we could replicate or strengthen them.
Fair enough. We do have an extra set of them currently. We're using one to disguise our kobold.
Hmm.
The cuffs aren't on me.
I thought you said they were, but they weren't locked. Which would...
No, I'm using rope.
He's using rope.
He's
been
just
using
tying
rope
his
this
hand up
whole
with the rope.
time.
That's fine.
Oh, I thought we were using the cuffs to disguise the magic kobold, but okay.
No.
Remember what we decided on for that, actually.
As far
Okay,
as they
that-
know, kobolds can't do magic.
We were sent to go get him because the cover story was that he was a special magic kobold.
Yeah, that was our cover story, literally.
Oh.
He's our crazy magic kobold. That's why he changed his eyes to look like galaxies, so he could frighten people. Magic kobold.
But most casters need to use their hands. It's common knowledge, folks, so my hands were tied.
Well,
We
if
do
you
have
are
at least
looking-
an extra set. One of them is up in the air, and whether or not it's a disguise or not.
It's not.
Well, I'll take the one pair if you are offering him, and I will keep Claire for the time being. Then you do your business, you bring more cuffs back to me, I give you back the child, and we all go our ways.
Sneck needs to clarify that whether we bring you back anything or not, the child's coming with us. She's not a trade item.
Well, I would certainly like you to bring me gifts. I do so like gifts.
More
And
than
they-
glad to attempt to.
And
Just
they smile.
clarifying it's
Um,
not a negotiation, that part.
Well, we'll call it a trade for now.
No.
Let's hope that you come back at all. Because
Well, hope
in many
is-
ways that this plays out, I don't get paid. And then I have a kid on my hands for no reason.
Well, assuming we could bring cuffs back, we do have a plan that may or may not destroy them in their entirety.
Well,
We will attempt to bring you cuffs back. But whether we succeed or not, Claire is coming with us.
Shaw turns their gaze from Sneck to Talrand and says, "As many cuffs as you can." And they stand up out of their chair, sheathing the ornate dagger that they had on a small sheath in their side. And they hold out their hand to Talrand. Do we have an accord?
Wait. Sneck would turn to... Who had the cuffs again? Is it Ally? Who's
I think-
physically carrying them?
I might have been carrying one pair due to research purposes, but I don't know if I gave that back look to.
Okay.
They were in the general loot pile. I don't think we'd actually decided who was carrying them.
Okay. Snack would like one of the pairs of handcuffs. Just
So
doesn't matter where it comes from. Okay.
we will keep one for Snack and give one to Shaw for now.
Okay. In giving one to Shaw, I want to look at Shaw very straight on and say, "These assure Claire comes with us. Consider it a good faith payment." And hand Shaw the handcuffs. We will still bring back more if we can, but whether we can or not, these assure Claire will come with us when we return.
Shaw does not break their gaze from Talrand and keeps their hand out.
Talrand reaches out and says, "I will do my very best to return with as many as possible for you. But I do stand with the kobold on the child."
Of course. And they shake your hand. As many as you can. Even if that's none. As many as you can. And I would hope, in good faith, if you are unable to come across any cuffs, you might bring me back something else nice for my trouble. In return for that, and they settle back into their chair, I could give you some of the information that I have about Ogun. Because, and get this, and they draw the mithril dagger back out from their from the sheath on their side. The Lord of Ogun, Lord Calandros, doesn't know about the slave market.
Ah.
Nor does he approve of that sort of thing. Free will is something that he prizes, and he actually has a tremendous fear of mind control. Many people go wandering into the ruins to the south and east of his town, and either come back with riches, or they become some creature's thrall or some other creature's meal. For studying every inch of their face. Yep.
Yep.
All right.
That's interesting.
Mm-hmm. Perhaps you may be able to use that to your benefit. Especially if you are targeting the slave markets for rescue and destruction. Alerting the town, or at the very least if you can get word, because I'm sure they have guards who are on the know, who are keeping the information about those markets a secret. If you can get that information directly to Lord Calandros, then that could be of use. His retaliation could be of use to you. It's not everybody seems to know about it, Calandros, in the chat there. It's literally the spy master. Like,
Well, the other lords and ladies would have to know about it
some of them
for them to
might.
be able to profit.
That's the thing.
Maybe.
Some of them might. Some of them might have people that just handle that stuff for them, and they could be completely oblivious. It's hard to say.
True.
Now, would you mind other questions about different targets?
I'll answer what I can.
Talrand does his best to describe the situation that his charge was in, and tries to ask if Shaw recognizes any of it in the city he's pretty sure she's in.
Shaw sort of, like, sits back and thinks for a brief moment as you describe, like, I imagine you describe the vision you had as well.
Yeah.
And you describe like the furniture and the other things that you saw, and you like describe seeing her at the table writing and stuff like that, and that she's now a young woman. Is that right?
Yep.
Do you also describe that she is a vampire?
Yes.
Okay. Through all of that, Shaw's face is pretty just blank. Like, Shaw doesn't seem to react to a lot of the things that are being said. And then nods and says, okay. There is a lord's house in Alderth. That is just east of the Sunken Kingdom. Now,
You would say it's likely the Lord's house?
it does sound like the Lord's house. The problem is that Alderth is a very prosperous town. It is a small city. Actually, well, it's quite large. There are a lot of lords and ladies who live there, who have parties and drink wine and get up to all sorts of nonsense in those places. It is exceptionally strange, at the very least to me, that they do so right next to a large sunken ruin of undeath. How your target ended up at this location, I'm unsure.
It's an excellent question, because last time I checked, we were somewhere near the northern end of the kingdom. Mind you, I did end up indisposed for an indeterminate number of years.
Indeed.
As a corpse.
Yeah, that's that happens. Your particular case seems a bit specific, but there it is. If you made your way to Alderth, I'm not sure I could tell you which lord's house that she would be in, but I could give you the names of at least 4 that, if they had a vampire in their home, would be keeping them in good states.
I would appreciate that.
And they take out... Actually, they stand and walk over to one of the tables, take one of the quills and a blank piece of parchment, and they write 4 names down. And then Shaw turns to you and says, "These are the names of the houses. Further investigation within Alderth would be wise. But that's a lead, at the very least." And they hand you the parchment. I will give you those names at a later time, because I don't have them right in front of me at this moment.
Okay.
Yeah, just remind me later, and I'll give them to you.
Do you have any contacts in the city that I might go through down there?
A branch of our organization.
Either yours or an information broker you would know of / I'm not going to say rely on, but can use reliably.
And they slowly kind of walk back over to their chair and then have a seat. You would be looking for a very specific individual. If you're looking for a branch of our organization, you want to look for a man named Silver Shaw.
Seems Shaw's more of a code name or rank.
You want to do an insight?
They're called
Sure.
that kill.
Either that or they're all siblings.
12. It does not, from the way that Shaw mentions it, they are not family. It's not a family name.
Maybe that designation, their job.
Silvershaw.
I get the feeling it's a rank in the spy network.
We accidented our way onto your organization is in this town. Is there a preferred way we would look for him?
Shaw smiles and is just like, you did not accident your way into this organization, I promise you. But
We
if
did
you
slightly
are...
accident our way into Marge.
Oh, Marge does good work.
Standing-
Her tavern over at the
standing
edge
around
of
awkwardly.
the east end of town, she does a very good job of keeping an eye on people and moving goods for me. She does good work. That being said, if you are looking for them specifically, do any of you know Thieves' Cant?
Points to Caleb.
And Shaw
Yes,
looks over to
I'm
Caleb.
pretty sure.
Now, Thieves' Cant is a written language. Is it also spoken?
I actually think it is. It's using a real life
Specific
example. If Penn and Teller fool us, whenever they think they know the answer to, they got a trick another magician has performed for them, they speak in a code, which I would give as an example as real life Thieves' Cant.
Okay. Yeah, it's a series of symbols very typically used to communicate with people. It's also a series of hand gestures and in some cases like a code.
Oh, the weather. The roses are green today.
Yeah.
I never liked the toilet out back. Man, I don't like that one cobblestone over there. Okay, we need to go murder a guy 3 houses over and dump his body down a well. What?
Tuesday's coming. Did you bring your coat? I am feeling fat and sassy. Doyle! That is Thieves' Cant.
It has to sound like an ordinary conversation.
Of course.
So it doesn't draw
Man.
attention.
Very
Jesus
extreme, a very
freaking
extreme version. But, yeah. Shaw looks over to Caleb and does a series of gestures with their right hand. The hand not holding the dagger towards you. You would recognize these as a series of symbols that mean, do you understand this?
I'll just nod.
Shaw then does another series of gestures asking you what your favorite kind of pie is.
I'll reply in Thieves' Cant. Peach cobbler.
Shaw smiles and kind of like, okay. Peach cobbler,
That's
man.
not a
All right.
pie. Peach cobbler is not a pie.
Cobbler's delicious though.
Really?
God, I could go for some peach cobbler now. Fuck.
Right? Now I just want peach everything. I forgot peaches were a thing.
Damn it.
Right?
That's fine. Yeah.
Peach cobbler is like baked, delicious peach loaf bread. It's
Oh, it's so
fucking
good.
delicious, but it's not a pie.
It's not a pie, but it's a baked
It sounds
good.
like you haven't been trying yesterday.
God, I could go for a cherry pie. I'm gonna go out and get some pies tomorrow. I gotta go grocery shopping tomorrow. I'm gonna buy some pies. Anyway, Duck is
Then he
just.
stole
I'm
23
suggestible
pies
with
that day.
food when I'm hungry. Sold 3 pies that day.
Cherry pie is the shit, Ton. Yes.
Yeah.
Or-
May I make a suggestion of hot dogs while you're at it?
I've got a lot of hot dogs here.
Oh man, you gotta buy them in those giant packs.
And I got a free pizza from Domino's the other day, and by free I mean like it was $6 off. Because they're like, you've ordered so many pizzas, you get a free pizza. I'm like, okay, let's do this. And they're like, plus $20 for pizza. And I'm like,
Wow, it's like whenever Domino's gives me a free pizza, they literally give me a free pizza.
Nah, For me, it's
puts all the toppings on and has to get it deep dish and like.
Which reminds me, I got a free pizza from Domino's.
You're only paying for the luxury tax, friend.
yes. True.
Back to the not I comment.
Anyway, yeah. So Shaw then like semi-impressed nods to Caleb, and says, "Okay, so you're gonna be looking for symbols around the town, not in social gathering areas, so don't look in taverns, but you're going to be looking for symbols around the towns, carved onto benches rather, talking about a man with a silver tongue."
Yeah, silver tongue.
Silver tongue, you say?
I get the feeling the ones around town talk about a mithril dagger.
I didn't mean to mention that, but I'm sure any of you who has a perception over like 12 would be able to tell that that is a extremely ornate mithril dagger that they're holding.
You didn't Talon didn't have to look, but she's been playing with the dagger constantly, and her name is Mithril Shaw. And she just she didn't say in thieves' cant you're looking for a man with a silver tongue. Talon is not stupid.
Talon's like the most aware of all of us.
Talon's the only, well, actually not the only person, but he's one of the people without a brain, and yet there he is doing all the thinking.
He is woke.
Brain made out of the king's flame, is it not?
Talon is paying very close attention to Shaw because he's the one that just shook her hand. Like, I just agreed to a deal, and I want to make sure I don't regret.
But yeah, they turn to the rest of the group and say, "All right. So that is your mark then."
That's my mark. I give glances towards Drakier, Alloy, and I think Caleb.
Does anybody else have any questions? Anything anyone wants to know?
Would you happen to know anything about a tribe of Dragonborn in the desert to the southeast?
See, now it's very interesting that you mentioned that. And Shaw gives you a curious look. That kingdom used to be of humans and dragons. And it is said, at the very least, in legend, that their offspring was you. Well, before they turned to demon worship and everything went to hell, quite literally.
Demon worship?
Indeed. Some people felt having the great power of dragons in and amongst them wasn't enough. They thought to perhaps quash some kind of strife within their kingdom. The details are fuzzy, and I'm not a historian, but some folks turned to demon worship and things got ugly down in Ogun. Or at least the ruins that are next to Ogun.
Interesting.
When Dalaran looks over at at Alloy to ask, in a sense, ask the same question, Alloy kind of just waves it off.
We'll be stopping by here before we get to Alloy's place, if I'm not mistaking the geography.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Why did we have to go? We had to go to a town in the mountain ranges, didn't we?
What?
No, it was just a loop.
That was like the one city we did not need to go to.
Yep, and we're in it.
Well, this one and the city by the mountains. Those were the two cities we not needed to go to. We kind of got forced into this one.
Yeah. You guys are going to go down to Ogun, and then go across to Alderth, and then up to Egris, and across to Egress. There were a town in the mountains called Vrelgakal, which you didn't need to go to. Alora wasn't a place that you needed to get to either.
No, but we needed to go to Ecris or the two E names.
Mm-hmm.
Igris
Right.
and Igris, yeah.
Yeah. Here, for the folks at home, I'll swap it over to the map. It just takes me a few jumps to get there. There we go. So yeah, you guys right now, you're in Ibranul, and the plan was to head south to Ogun, and then go across to Alderth, and then up and around to Igris, and then across to Ecris.
Yes.
I need
So
to change one
Talon
of those
has to
places.
go here.
Yeah.
Who had to go to Ecris?
summoning something?
That would be
after.
me, Drakiar.
It needs to
What?
go to one of those, yeah.
Yeah.
Basically, Caleb found a statue that has to do with my family's history, and I'm looking into that.
Yeah, so you have targets here as well. Here, you can pick the girl back up from there, and the slave market there.
Y'all ready for a road trip?
So it's going to be across, and then to there, and then to...
Just trying to make sure that yes, it's Alloy's going to here, and then hopefully at this point, Ally will have decided that that Shaw is not going to wildly betray us.
Yeah, I don't trust that at all, friends. That's gonna come back and bite us in the rump.
Rump!
Rump!
I mean, we don't really have better options for getting information within the kingdom, which is why Talrand is quite interested in finding out more.
Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask.
Sorry.
Talrand does.
I mean, for the information I'm looking for, my primary source refuses to reveal anything.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of academic information that you have within the Kingdom of Autometh is a bit sparse about things in the Empire.
We have some information of the Empire, but it's either sparse or outdated.
Well, Caleb, whatever information Caleb has is pretty close to being in date.
Well, yeah, because Caleb is from here. Like, lived in and amongst the surface.
And didn't die for an undeterminate amount of years.
Yep.
That being said, Talrand does ask knowledges of paths.
Knowledge
As it were.
is of paths?
Knowledge of paths.
Oh, knowledge of paths.
Like the backcountry roads, the stealthy routes. We're trying to avoid the Empire routes because, well,
Well, of course, you don't want to be in the situation that we're in right now, where there are a lot of troops currently in town.
yeah,
And
we
we need to deal with that.
It was either trying to hide in the long grasses with a small child in the area they were searching,
Yeah,
or
isn't that good?
duck in town and try to find a quiet building to
Well,
hide in.
When you are ready to leave, we may have a tunnel that leads out of town for you. From there, you can take the main roads, or you can move through the wilderness. There's not a lot of small paths along the way, though there are small towns along the roads, so it's up to you.
We will probably go through the wildernesses. We don't suffer detriment for wandering through them, as it were, and it keeps us off the beaten path.
That is wise. And you were wise to find a place to stash the child before you continued on your way.
So,
If I may ask one more question.
Certainly.
What is it the Empire was looking for in that search of theirs?
The
Doc
troops, you mean?
told me- yeah, Doc told me I recognized this, and I would have told you that, Dracula.
Yeah. But just to reiterate, the troops are mostly a show of force. They go from place to place. They move between some of the larger cities and settlements within the Empire. They fan out and look for anything that would be considered out of place. They find and arrest people committing heresy, those sort of things.
Since we do plan to be leaving the town
Hmm.
expeditiously,
Mm-hmm.
and you are doing a not inconsiderable boon for us here, with both information and not betraying us and watching Claire.
And you're doing things for me. It's a mutually beneficial relationship.
It does drive me to ask, how did this situation with her begin?
I have people that work inside the brothel. It is a very advantageous situation for me, because you would be impressed on the sorts of things that soldiers and the other like tell people, the guys and gals who work at brothels, and that information trickles down to us here in the network.
Yes.
The situation with Claire, unfortunately, came about when a new manager of that brothel was appointed by politicians instead of by our own threads, our own spiders within the web.
Is that manager still there?
No. And they shake their head. That
They
individual...
just kind of smiles, like ear-to-ear grin with teeth and everything.
Much as I would like to destroy the establishment, it is still of too much value to me. This one, and she points at Claire, I don't know where she came from. She was brought here with the new manager. The new manager, unfortunately, had an accident in an outhouse.
Tragic, I'm certain.
Oh, nothing quite
Much
so...
like Minions.
Nothing quite so
Much like
sophisticated, I
Minions.
promise you. There are,
Much like his minions, who met
Was it a
fairly
crossbow
tragic ends
bolt?
as well.
I'm sure that some of you are familiar with the properties of some of the mushrooms in the woods.
He had some...
Had some bad
The
stew.
local flavor got to him.
Yeah, he didn't really agree with the local cuisine. Unfortunately, came down with a quite instant and terrible sickness. That being
That point's
said,
going to become a running gag.
with his removal, we are in an awkward position where they may attempt to appoint another person to take over that establishment before we can get somebody to move in and take it over for us. So we need to be careful.
Bad pipes.
We bought time, but we need to ensure that a proper solution comes about. Dracula,
Well, I
what are you
understand.
doing with a 12 insight? What are you after?
That was a while back.
Oh, okay. I thought that just popped up. I was not sure.
No. He was trying to determine how much he believed her at, if I had to guess, because it was right when she was describing the initial situation.
It was back with me trying to figure out whether or not that hatred for the Empire was true or not.
Oh, it's real.
Yeah.
Like you can, you like as far as you can tell, it is genuine shit. Pure, genuine hatred. Acolyte's neck digs out 5 gold coins and places them on the table in the corner of the room. It's not much to you, I'm sure, but my thanks. Shaw just shakes their head no, and says, "Keep your coins. We don't deal in a lot of money down here."
Then
She
use it
didn't
to
mention
keep her
that.
fed.
She
Then
did
you-
mention that chonky jewelry, the slavers.
Of course. Coins?
do have-
No, the jewelry could be made of use.
Disguises?
Disguises. I can get you a way out of town. I may be able to cook something up. Don't want to drain too many resources. But we might be able to do something about that.
I was actually saying disguises about the chunky jewelry. It can be used for disguises.
Oh, that's what you mean. Yes. Well, I mean, trading in the Empire's currency can be difficult at times. Trading in big chunks of gold with gems sloppily set into them is a bit more advantageous to us. It's quieter.
Quite valuable, too.
Mm-hmm.
We, if you have anything that would, if you'd be willing to help with, ensuring proper disguises, Alloy.
Truth be told,
Me?
truth be told, what you're doing right now is about as good as you're gonna get. I don't have anything that I could give you that is going to mask your presence. You are 6 strange travelers moving in a group. Groups of adventurers are not uncommon on the surface, so it could be to your advantage to continue ramping yourselves up. Though people more experienced in the trade, and they gesture to themselves, might notice.
Me, Snake, and Alloy are not disguising ourselves short of magic.
I do have one question.
Magic.
If you would perhaps indulge a polite curiosity.
Sure.
Shaw levels the end of their dagger towards Alloy. Where did you find him?
That is... I will put it in his court. That is his personal information, and he's at his will to distribute it.
Alloy will kind of lower the wraps on his face, since he hasn't really done that yet, and will say to them, what does that information mean to you?
You're a relic. You are as rare as the most powerful magical sword that the Empire could forge. As a matter of fact, that's exactly what you and your kind were. You were made to fight fights to ensure that living regular people didn't have to. But very shortly after your program was put into service, a lot of you disappeared. All of you, as a matter of fact. So the fact that I see one of you walking around with 5 other, no offense, monsters, is very curious to me.
Piffles, don't worry, go back to your jerky.
How do you know of my kind? As far as I'm aware, that information was kept secret in the Empire.
And Shaw just kind of gestures to the room that you're all standing in, and is like, it is my business to know these sorts of things. Now, I hear word that there are 1 or 2 of you still intact, deactivated, lying around the Empire, as the rest of you were recalled and disassembled. However, you're still functional. That is astonishing.
I don't think I've ever really described Alloy that well. For the most of his parts are pretty rusty, as well as like, well, with the exception of like the chainmail armor or the armor that he has on him, and he does have some obvious like battle scars on him.
Yeah, like there is obvious signs of wear
Yeah.
from the years. But yeah.
Just want to double check. So your new shiny armor you got from Tooth and Nail?
Claw.
Tooth and
Claw.
Claw?
Claw? Tooth and Claw is over top of a really big old rust bucket of a dude.
Yeah, he's not in good condition.
It stands out.
Like it's
He also has this one big gash over one of his eyes.
Now I hope the fire breath I gave him did not damage any components in his head.
Guess we know why he's so terrible at sneaking. Yes, we've got this one gentleman wearing nice, clean armor, and then he's got like rusted, decayed gloves on. What the fuck?
huh.
Well, most of his armor is covered up at the moment.
Yeah, like he's you got that big
Yeah.
cloak that you bought back in Autometh that you're using to more or less cover you up. But yeah, like it is the plates that you had fitted onto you were like nice new smithed plates from Tooth, but like it's over top of heavily aged equipment.
Yeah.
Sounds like he could use a good polish.
Looks like he's been standing outside in the rain for a long time.
I bet Tooth would volunteer to give him a good polish.
He might have.
So in response to that, Alloy says to them,
Hashtag sex joke.
at near the end of the war, I found myself indisposed in the forest. I was, shall we say, salvaged and restored by our benefactor.
This king you mention in your kingdom of Autometh, they recovered you?
Yes.
And you possess free will?
Yes.
And Shaw smiles at that and just breathes out a word, magnificent.
And what is so magnificent about that?
You're a rare thing. You're a walking, talking, magical weapon. And you possess free will on top of that. It appears as though your artificing has borne unusual fruit.
And that was what the Empire did not like about my kind.
Yes,
And
free will
why
is a
they
thing that they don't enjoy. Not terribly well, at the very least. Thank you for indulging my curiosity. Right. Is there anything more that I may be able to assist you with?
I was going to ask if there was anything we could help you with before we were on our way.
Well, I mean, seeing as none of you can stay behind and be put in as a temporary they make big quotation marks with their fingers, temporary new overseer of our brothel, I think that this is fine for now. I've given you a little bit of something, you've given me a little bit of something, and then hopefully next time when we meet we can have another charming little chat like this and trade stories.
Deliver you piles of handcuffs and ugly, ugly jewelry.
Ah, my favorite. People are saying this a lot like the Wizard of Oz, with Piffles being Dorothy and Talron being the Scarecrow and Alloy is the Tin Man and Sneck is the ballsy lion. I thought Sneck would be like Toto the dog.
Yeah.
I'm not one of like the townsies. Townies. I'm Dorothy. It's me. Okay.
Apparently.
I'm all right with this. I guess Dorothy kind of
MB,
is oblivious to
honest-
works.
MB, out of anyone else in the party, who would be a better Dorothy than Biff?
Someone turns to the Artificer like, why on earth did we give our constructed super soldiers free will? For the drama.
According to
Thank
the
you,
Aunt
Douglas.
Toto, and I'm okay with that too.
There's no place like home.
We're sitting down and resting for now, as we're presumably waiting for a slightly quieter time to leave the camp. Taurend actually stops to make some tea and hand it out to everyone who's currently living.
What do you use to heat the tea, or is it cold tea?
I'm going to use that fireplace that's in the background there.
Yeah, there's a little boiler in the corner. Yeah. So, you go over to make some tea, and Shaw reaches down just behind the chair's back left leg, their left, and pulls out a small bell and rings it.
So, I'm sorry, but I just had a silly image pop in my head. Talon's making tea, and the Drakiar just holds up his staff, and the end heats up like an oven.
I mean, it works too.
Making
I'm holding
tea.
the teapot over his staff.
To be fair, I could just cast heat metal.
That's also a thing. I forgot about that.
I could. I
So
could
you guys-
just cast.
You guys are making tea.
That's horrifying for me.
Shaw rings a little bell. And one of the peasants sort of scuttles back into the room, not looking at anyone, like eyes on the floor. And Shaw, just with their free hand, snaps their fingers, and the peasant nods and backs out of the room. And a moment later, a few of the peasants come back in and retake their positions at their tables, writing notes and moving information around through some scraps of parchment.
I have to wonder, would my appearance grant a passive intimidate?
They are all of them not looking at you. Like, each of them that come into the room, they're looking at the floor, they get to their desk, they sit down, and it's like a horse with blinders. They just sit there and they continue looking at what they're doing. So yeah.
Talrand does offer to everyone, including like Claire and Shaw.
Shaw politely declines.
Not particularly surprising, but
Yeah. This is not going to take tea from a dead guy. Like, that's just bad business.
I mean,
Wow.
Considering we're
Definitely
carrying the
has to do
same
with
poison she used to kill the current brothel,
considering I'm carrying the same poison.
that's what I was saying.
Yeah. Ma'am.
Kara, no.
Have some mushroom tea. Now that's how the old brothel manager died. Yeah. Shaw stands and goes to walk down as you guys are drinking your tea. Gets up and gestures for you guys to come along down one of the tunnels.
Snack would follow, but purposely still leave the coins on the table.
Yeah.
I'm coming
Weak.
along.
Talrand follows. Any leftover tea gets put in a
Ew.
bag for, cool tea later.
Nice.
I heard that as cruelty, and I thought it was funny.
You would feed it to Piffles.
God,
What? Who
I
would
had...
be
With no sugar. With grubs, though.
This is cruelty. It is
But wait.
bitter.
Does it have caffeine?
That's it. No, actually, it doesn't.
Damn, I was gonna say, did you want to see a caffeinated piff? Because
This is
Here we
specifically
go.
calming tea.
Oh great! Now I gotta carry around a freaking like thermos or some like some kind of medieval thermos full of coffee, super
Yes.
caffeinated coffee to pour
It's
down
called
throat.
water
Yes.
sport.
Coffee.
Or
Anyways,
last.
so you guys are
That-
led down a series of tunnels. The tunnels are largely hewn straight from the earth. So there are wooden braces every now and then, and occasionally some stones are used to flatten out the bottom, but by and large, it's dirt ceiling, dirt walls, dirt floor. As you go through
That
these...
feels great at home.
Yeah, as you go through this tunnel. They branch off all over the fucking place. There are things out to the... Whoops, history. What's up?
Would I know the original purpose of these tunnels?
This is an underground organization. Looking at these tunnels, this is clearly like... That was a... Like, the room that you guys were just in was a secret room underneath a weavery. There are tunnels that go to other rooms that could assumedly be under other places in town.
Yeah, I get they definitely. My idea was that they definitely cleared out, extended the tunnels to go under the shops and such, but have a whole tunnel network that seems like it was originally had a different purpose.
No?
It's an old spy network.
Yeah, it is a old spy network that's been dug out. And, like, you guys saw the town. It was a big place. They have these tunnels going to little places all over. Now, the room that you were in was easily one of the largest. But there are small rooms that are, some of them, very much like the one you were in, have, like, you know, set floors in stone. They have walls and proper ceilings and whatnot. Some of them are used to store things. Other ones are just like a large pocket dug out in the dirt with a torch or two on the walls, and they just have some things lying in there, like some goods or materials sort of moved here and there. One of the tunnels, as you're moving along, turns into a cobblestone floor and has proper brickwork on the walls and the ceiling, which goes down to a large set of iron doors. But you guys don't go that way. You guys go a different direction. And Shaw leads you through the tunnels, and it's kind of hard to keep an eye out as to, or kind of keep on where you are. But eventually, they lead you to a chamber that has the area where you came in, like the tunnel where you came in, and on the other side of the chamber, there is a sort of circular tunnel leading further out with an iron grate on it. And Shaw turns to you guys and says, when night falls, you can use this tunnel to exit south out of the town.
Thank you. Would you have use for random brass knuckles and crossbows?
Always.
Party?
I mean, it's not like I want to sell these things. They're not worth much.
Mm.
Alloy just shrugs.
I know some of you guys do use crossbows, so I mean we could keep the bolts that we got, but we have like 5 crossbows and a bunch of brass knuckles that we're not really using.
Okay, sorry. Cutie's talking about how she's drawn something really gross, apparently.
I wish to change my fighter archetype. Now I'm a brass knuckle user.
Everybody is
Your hands are already harder than brass knuckles.
We ran into a group of halflings, halfling bandits, with their leader calling themselves Bromo Nubs.
At the mention of this, Shaw, like, gets a playful smile finds its way onto their face, and Shaw sort of like goes, okay. How'd it go?
You nearly killed them with that same poison that you removed a brothel owner with.
Oh, You almost got him with the brown alarm? That's amazing.
I'm sorry, what was it? Did you say brown alarm?
I heard brown.
Yeah, brown alarm.
Amazing.
Sometimes called the
What?
brown alert. Nobody ever... You don't know about that? What do you guys call it?
I wasn't
we
paying
didn't have a name
attention, and I just heard the wrong thing. What?
Well,
We
it's
didn't really have a name for it, but
brown alert.
we are updating that now.
Doc, I draw your attention to the Roll20 chat.
Better than the name I gave.
Alien piece of halfling jerky for us. His people taste good. Shaw kind of like nods and is like, I imagine they do. Seemingly unsurprised with the fact that some of your party members are eating fucking halflings.
I'm still chewing on my jerky. I'm still skeptical of all this bullshit.
But yeah, we've got a bunch of crossbows and brass.
Backyard is still just grossed
But,
out by eating something that was once sentient.
We could hump halfway across the planet, or we could, hand off to somebody who could actually use them productively.
I mean, yeah, that was just taking up space in our inventories. So it was like,
Of course. And Shaw turns to your group before they walk out and just say, anything that you would like to leave for us, you may leave in this chamber here. And I'll send someone to come pick it up later.
Everyone okay with us leaving these behind?
yeah.
Wait, what all are we leaving behind, or are we just leaving behind the shackles?
Crossbows and brass knuckles.
That we got from
That-
Promo Nubs.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. Yeah, that doesn't bug me at all. Well, wait, I took a pair of the brass knuckles, didn't I?
We
Yeah,
have
I
8 pairs.
But
Okay,
Trust
because
me,
I don't want
pistols,
to
I'm
leave.
keeping...
I'm gonna keep mine.
Yep. We are keeping the ones that are left in the... dropping the ones left in the party loot pile.
I'm just
Oh,
trying
yeah.
now imagining Pip standing there, like, fists up, just moving him around, trying to look threatening with the brass knuckles.
And, yeah, Mithril Shaw
Team
then
daggers you all gave me. You guys armed me to the
turns-
teeth. That's your fault.
turns and is walking away and waves over their shoulder at you guys. And you just hear them call out from the tunnels, "Good luck," as they disappear into the darkness. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to bring us to a close. It's been 3.5 hours, and I need to eat some pizza.
And I need to go find something to eat, period.
Yep.
I ate right before the stream, and I'm so tired now.
I feel you. I'm exhausted.
Got like the post. Oh, it's been such a day.
I've been up since 5 a.m.
It's been
Me and my
such
mom
a
need to go do
day.
some grocery shopping.
Well, one of the dogs I walk ate half a comforter and dragged it into his crate today, so that was fun.
Fun!
Fun with puppers.
Wow.
He's okay, but fun with puppers.
Cutie, you can post coffee piffles in the art section of the Discord. I am going to we still got a little bit because we still got to raffle off War for the Overworld, and I'm going to give people another couple of minutes before they get into that.
Yes.
I'm now just imagining, just among the spy network, word is going to spread that Bromo Nubs almost got killed by the Brown Alert.
Well, I mean, you can tell at the very least by Shaw's response to the fact that you guys ran into Bromo Nubs, that they are not taken seriously. Oh God! Well, let's get that for the folks at home. There you are. It's coffee piffles.
The eyeballs are killing me.
No, that's not your imagination. She is actually floating several inches off the ground as well.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, this is magic.
Give Piffles a water skin full of coffee, and then point her in the direction of what you want destroyed.
Pretty much. Pretty much. I
That
look like
looks
I
to
made
be
out
the
of
case.
vibrations and madness. Christ. This is fantastic. Like, I knew as a non-binary person I was officially a cryptid, but dude.
Hey.
All right, you guys got 3 minutes to get in on this Regafull for a copy of War for the Overworld, ladies and gentlemen.
Regafull!
Regafull!
Yes, Palindrose is like, I'm imagining the coffee scene from Wonder Song, and I'm like, I just finished? Wonder Song, and honestly, if you guys haven't played that game, play it. It is fucking fantastic.
We got a lot of people who are on for this game, but this game is largely, or a lot of the people rather that are in on this, I've only put in one ticket, with the exception of Rainer and NB. So, ladies and gentlemen, get in on this!
I'm imagining the coffee scene from Hoodwinked.
Oh god, Hoodwinked.
Actually, I don't think I've seen that.
I was thinking of the coffee scene from Over the Hedge.
There's a lot of coffee scenes.
Cookie scene, I guess.
The Futurama one.
Oh yeah, when he drinks the 100 cups of free coffee, and then ascends.
For me, it's just like I went
Did
with
that
Hoodwinked. I went with Hoodwinked because you get the whole moment of, my God, what have I done?
So I used to work in cafes, and that 100 cups of coffee thing, done it.
Yeah, I just like that, Fry is going through getting his last cup of coffee as the building is catching on fire, and he just sips it, and everyone's like, and slows down to, a crawl, and he's, glowing, and he just, turns around to everybody, in a varying states of distress and fear, and he just nods and smiles to himself, and then starts moving to, save everybody out of the building and, put all the fires out.
He achieved enlightenment.
Yeah, he just ascended.
Really, what happens is it gives you wicked bad heart palpitations, a stomach ache, and you can't sleep for 3 days.
Yep. Good old coffee.
It's probably the best that I don't drink coffee.
It's such a good episode.
I haven't been able to in a very long time.
You got one more minute, folks.
I used to work in cafes. I used to be a coffee addict.
You got until 11:40. Get on that raggle full.
I can't stand coffee. I cannot stand anything bitter like that.
Rag full. Oh, I love coffee and dark chocolate. God, coffee is my. Oh, I miss coffee.
And you're probably going to call me if you like dark chocolate, you're probably going to call me a heretic for preferring white chocolate.
Oh no, I like white chocolate too. I like all flavors of chocolate. Chocolate is one of my major deities.
Help me.
Oh, classic.
Oh, but no, I have 4 different methods of brewing coffee in my apartment alone. I am a giant coffee nerd.
Only 4?
I have a Chemex. I have a Chemex. I have a mocha pot. I have an AeroPress, and I have a Melita pour over. I also have a very expensive, very fantastic copper tea kettle that has a thermometer in the top and a counterweighted handle for pouring stuff.
I used to swear by a French press or an AeroPress and that sort of stuff. But then once my apartment became 4 people, I was like, I'll just use the coffee maker.
See, I like French press, but I don't like the grit you kind of get at the end of it sometimes. I like it if I want thick coffee for baking into stuff. It's really good for that. But I really like the Chemex because it comes in a 12-cup version, so you can make a large amount for up to 5 people. And the filters in the Chemex are actually made by a chemist. That's where the name comes from. And they're extra thick, so they actually get rid of most of the bitterness in coffee, and you're left with a really clean flavor. Oh, it's so good.
Talron may be biased.
I am a nerd about coffee. I apologize.
What is Talron biased on?
Talron used to be human. And, always liked those that, would, well, I mean, the threatening part, can seem threatening, but not threatening,
yes.
if that makes...
The big hearts. Okay, yes, I see. Yeah, well, I mean, I wanted to make an extremely threatening, non-binary assassin person.
I absolutely love it.
I very badly wanted to have this character in the game. I was like, I want a genderly ambiguous androgynous assassin person.
oddly enough, Alan doesn't really care that much these days
Can't imagine why.
about
The thing is,
particulars.
keep on getting influenced because that image you use is not quite non-binary. It can see some fairly female
Okay,
features.
okay. I'm gonna interrupt you right there.
Wait, no,
Because
don't-
non-binary is a label, and anybody can be non-binary regardless of what you actually look like.
Be nice.
No, I just mean like,
Androgyny does not equal non-binary.
There you go.
I know. It's just what Doc said. You couldn't quite tell if they were male or female. So
Oh yeah,
the way he was
picture.
describing the character and using the pronouns, though.
Yeah, the picture that I put up is definitely someone that if you look at them, you could tell that they are AFAB or
AFAB.
assigned female at birth, which is fine. But I was like, I'm just going to describe this person as looking like this, but being more androgynous. Yeah. And yes, cutie, they can steal your kneecaps. I am also in love with them. Yeah. So,
You can still
I'm in love with them. They can steal my kneecaps. Yes, they can.
Yeah.
And with that,
Oh,
ladies
man.
and gentlemen, let's see who's won a copy of probably one of my favorite games of all time, War for the Overworld.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, our winner this evening is Tonberry Queen.
dang it! Congrats, Strawberry.
Tonberry Queen with 1 ticket walks away with a copy of this game, even though there was, 12 tickets currently in the pot. It is a 1 in 12, and you got it. Tonberry, congratulations, and also happy birthday!
Yes, that's a birthday gift.
There you go.
So
That
really
is an inadvertent birthday gift from the gods.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
That's why
technically it was
Tom Berry
1 in
won.
6, so I said if I'd want to give it to her anyway.
That's why Tom Berry won. Eris was giving her birthday gift.
Yay! It's a good time. So,
Chat
everybody,
mom.
thank you so much for coming out to our D&D live stream. I really appreciate that. This has been fantastic.
It's fine.
I have been having a very good time, and I hope you guys have been having a very good time as well. But until next time, I'm gonna raid Swing Point after this stream because I really like him. I think he's a very cool guy. Yeah. So, thank you everybody for coming out to our stream here. Thank you for all of your views, your bits and subscriptions, your donations, and your support in all of its manners. I really appreciate it. And until then, I have been your hopefully kind and benevolent DM, Dr. Terwat, Toronto's greatest supervillain and evil genius. This is our group of crazy murder hobo adventurers. Going down the list here, we have
Every murder hobo.
Esteban playing Telrand, our skeleton archer.
Currently falling for a spy master.
Aw. And we've got Raynor playing Drakir, our draconian sorcerer.
I take offense to murder hobo. I own a home, good sir.
And we got Keldaka Gray playing Snek, our kobold cleric.
Neck will melt the flesh from your bones.
And Alloy, played by Quad, our warforged warrior.
I will destroy all humans.
It's like, Alloy, where are you from?
That information is classified.
Okay, cool. And we've got Palanthir playing Caleb, our Air Genasi rogue.
Murder hobo, please. I haven't really no, wait.
There were all those child-sized people we killed in the woods and that were eating their
And
flesh.
made jerky out of. Not flesh. You made the jerky out of muscle. The muscles.
I did not take offense to the murder part. I took offense to the hobo part.
That tall
Of course.
child looks terrible. And last, of course, certainly not least, we've got Ambisaurus Rex playing Piffles, our goblin bard.
I love coffee so much.
And we will see you all next time on our live stream again tomorrow. End of line.